Well, good evening. A very warm welcome here to Hong Kong, China for tonight's racing in the UCI Track Cycling World Championships. It is a magnificent city and it's hosted some stunning racing so far. Here we are in the velodrome, getting ready for tonight's events. We really have had some magnificent racing over the last couple of days. This is day 3 of 5. Some really memorable moments over the last couple of nights, and I think tonight is going to be no exception. Lots of discussion going on in the track centre as riders get ready for their performances here on these boards. The Australians have been riding really well. There's Meyer. He's about to go out on the track. Can he bring home another world title for Australia? He certainly is a motivator in that Australian squad. Last night they were extremely good when they took to the boards. All smiles? Well, sort of smiles. There's Kenny Decisive, the world champion of the Madison previously. He will be coming out on the track for this men's points race. Here's the track data. And if you've been joining us the last couple of nights, we're moving along the track this time. 250 metres in length is this track. The width is 7 metres. Completely wooden track, including the runoff area at the bottom. And a maximum gradient 42% at its steepest. We're coming in here to the 12.4% gradient there on the right hand side. There's Morgan Niski of France, just getting himself warmed up, ready for this points race. Last minute turning of the legs. Mark Stewart of Great Britain just getting onto the rollers. His last little bit of preparation underway now. Well, there's the steep banking and there's the commissaires panel on the graphic that will tell you who makes the decisions, like last night's relegation of Joachim Eilers and Francois Pervis. Lots of concentration in this track centre. And there's Katie Archibald. So far in the women's omnium, she has dominated the racing. She's trying to cool down a little bit, sitting alongside Mark Stewart, both Scottish riders. The Americans will be taken to the track as well. Final little bit of preparation for Zachary Kovalich. Well, it's very warm in this track this evening. It's warmer than it has been over the last couple of nights. Christina Vogel will be up on the track in the sprints yet again. Not long until we get this racing underway. Simona Krupakaita. She's ready for this evening's events. Meyer of Australia. What a magnificent rider he is. I think the Australians are really happy to have him back. Sarah Lee, last minute preparations for her. Could be a big night for her in this Hong Kong velodrome. And there's Amy Cure, all smiles. Katie Archibald's back with the pink hair. She writes a very entertaining newspaper column, does Katie Archibald. She doesn't take herself or life too seriously unless she's on a bike. but she's an extremely talented rider. So what's coming up this evening? What are you going to see? We start off with the men's points race final. We move into the women's sprint. We're at the semi-final stage of that. Then we'll bring you the women's omnium elimination. We've got the first victory ceremony, the men's points race, before we go through to the men's individual pursuit finals. And we finish up on that screen there with the women's omnium points race and the women's sprint finals. If we need a decider in the women's sprint, we will have it. Remember, best of 3 rides. And lots of victory ceremonies pack the end of the evening. Well, we're getting ready then on the track with the men's points race. This is a straight final, and the riders are about to get up there on the boards. Here's our start list. This is a very, very strong field. I think this is going to be very, very hard fought this evening. It should be a scintillating race. Andreas Graf there at the bottom of the screen, the silver medalist last year. And I'm sure King Lok Chung is going to be cheered on by this crowd. They're all going to get behind him, and he always likes to go on the attack, so I'm sure we're going to be up for some entertainment as this race continues. There's Mark Stewart, there's Mark Downey. And the Belarusian there is Roman Ramanu. The riders then are on the track and they're getting ready for what will be 160 laps of racing. 16 sprints every 10 laps. 20 laps if you take 20 points if you take a lap, and then the points for each sprint as well. The winner is the rider who takes the most points by the end of the race. We're underway then for this men's points race. All the riders bunched up together. The warm-up lap is underway before the gun fires, and then we get this race started. So keep your eyes on the front of the race. Every 10 laps there will be a sprint over the 160 laps. We're underway straight away. If you take a lap, 20 points for the riders who take a lap. So just keep your eyes on the action at the front. Currently at the front of the race is number 86 there, and that is Vitla Hirnev, rides for the Ukraine. Little attack immediately from the start as a group of 5 riders go clear. And it's Claudio Imhoff who's at the front in the yellow and blue now for the Ukraine is the rider we just mentioned a moment, Vitali Hirnev. And Hirnev is trying now to go clear to take the first lap of the night. Just trying to catch everyone unawares before they've settled into a little bit of a rhythm. But he swings up the track. Cameron Meyer goes to the front immediately. Talking to everyone beforehand in the track centre, who are the favourites for this race. Cameron Meyer's name comes up over and over again, but also the likes of Kenny de Ketelaere riding for Belgium, Regan Goff, who's ridden so well in the New Zealand team. Andreas Graf always tries a big attack riding for Austria. And Eloy Teruel, also from Spain, is one of the big named favourites in this race. Well, thank you very much for all your messages over the last few days as we settle into the first few laps of the race. If you'd like to join me, @Ant McCrossan is where you can join me. Well, that's on Twitter, and you can send any messages. And later on, we're going to be joined by Carly McCulloch, who's going to join us in the commentary box to guide us through some of the action this evening. So you'll be able to join her on Twitter as well and send her any messages. 153 laps of racing to go. Coming up to the first sprint of the night. .152 laps of racing to go. The first sprint is about to happen. And the Danish rider coming up to the front is Nicholas Larsson. Here we go, the first bell goes, and it looks like Morgan Niesky at the front of the race for France. Niesky, 3 times a world champion in this on the track, going for the first sprint, and Niesky sets his stall out early. Mark Stewart takes second place, Lucas List takes third. So Morgan Niesky immediately taking the first set of points. Confirmation of the first sprint. Morgan Niesky takes 5, Mark Stewart takes 3, Lucas List takes 2, and Strakov of Russia takes the 1 point that was on offer there. Good start then for Morgan Niesky. Morgan Niesky, the bronze medalist in this discipline in 2011. Morgan Niesky, a scratch racer Madison world champion in his career. Cameron Meyer staying near to the front as the pace goes up a little bit. Big attack from the Canadian rider. Adam Jameson trying to go clear now at the front of the race. The tempo has been relentless from the start. And if you're just joining us now, the race situation with 5 laps to go to the next sprint. Morgan Niesky of France, the leader with 5 points. Mark Stewart of Great Britain with 3. Lucas List with 2 points. Strakov of Russia has 1 point so far in this points race. 20 points if you take a lap. On the front of the peloton then, the Belarusian rider, that's Raman Ramanu. And we're getting close to the next sprint. So everyone's just manoeuvring around the track a little bit. They don't want to go too early. The Polish rider goes, that's Wojciech Czelarski. Must be motivated by last night's Polish world champion. Mark Downey of Ireland onto the front of the race now. He's in the green. And these riders are just trying to work their tactics out as to how they can win some of the sprints. Cameron Meyer now decides to go and score some early points in this points race. Meyer followed by Andreas Graf, and Meyer looks very, very comfortable as he spins his way across the gap and hits the line, and Meyer decides to just kick on a little bit, just testing out to see how the rest of the riders are doing. 5 points to Cameron Meyer that time. .139 laps to go. Cameron Meyer takes 5, Graf takes 3, Hirnev takes 2, and Larsen of Denmark takes 1 point, which leaves the overall, the standings, looking like this. Morgan Niesky is the leader, tied on points with Cameron Meyer, Mark Stewart of Great Britain, and Andreas Graf with 3. At the front of the race then is Mark Downey, the 20-year-old from Ireland. Madsen gold medal winner in the Los Angeles World Cup. It's a good attack from him now. It's a good time to go. We've settled into the first few laps of the race. And riders will be just starting to recover from the initial effort, but Cameron Meyer doesn't look like he wants to let Mark Downey go at all, so he swings up the track and tries to get a little bit more pace in. Downey is persisting with this attack. Looks around to see whether any damage has been done. Everyone is still feeling good enough to have chased that one down. And on the front now is number 82, and that is João Matias from Portugal. And another big attack, and that's going in from the Polish rider Wojciech Czelarski. Such a great finish to the scratch race last night. Good attack here from the Polish rider then. Downey looks around to see whether anyone is prepared to bring him back, and he's now got a quarter of a lap on the rest of the field, 133 laps of racing to go. Larson looks up. There is Eloy Teruel. Teruel, twice a silver medalist and one time a bronze medalist in this race. Coming up to the next sprint then. 131 laps of racing to go, and Czelarski of Poland still ahead. Looks like the Portugal rider Matias is going to try here to score the second set of points, but the Polish rider Czelarski goes through, and it looks like we're going to sprint between Stewart and Matias. Stewart takes the 3. But Czelarski is going to carry on. Stewart decides that he's going to try and accelerate a little bit to go across to the front rider. The pace is so high in here right now. Well, it looks like Czelarski's on 5 that time. Stewart 3, Matias 2. Panasenko of Kazakhstan took 1. Which means that the standings are looking like this. Mark Stewart with 6, and Morgan Niski of France with 5, Cameron Meyer with 5, Czelarski with 5. 127 laps of racing to go in this men's points race. This is the final. And finally, this attack is about to be brought back, and Eloy Teruel is the rider who's now going to go. Teruel, 3 times on the podium in this discipline, joined by another couple of riders. And it looks like Mark Downey is desperate to get into a move here. Was really motivated by the gold medal in the World Cup. And he's going clear again. A little gap opening up in the peloton, such as the pressure of this race. Teruel has a glance around. What sort of damage has he done? The answer is not very much. Downey decides that he doesn't want to go Cameron Meyer immediately on his wheel. Andreas Graf behind. Andreas Graf in the blue and white of Italy is Michele Scartazzini, the bronze medalist in the team pursuit the other day. Interesting that no one's been able to go away but Cameron Meyer, wearing number 51, one of the luckiest numbers in cycling. Decides to spin away and see whether anyone goes with him. And it looks like someone is going to try and go with him. They sense the danger immediately. Cameron Meyer just sits up then as we head towards the next sprint. And it looks like we've got Morgan Niski going for the sprint yet again. Niski is looking to put himself top of the leaderboard with this sprint. Morgan Niski coming up to the line then. He's going to score the maximum points. He takes 5. So Niski is going to go to the top of the leaderboard, I think, by the looks of that sprint. So Niski takes 5 with 120 laps to go. Belarusian was in second, that was Ramanal. Larson is up there, Downey takes 1 point for Ireland. And the result there confirmed after 4 sprints, 16 sprints in total. Niski on 5, Ramanal on 3, Larson on 2, Downey on 1 point. The leader there is Niski, as you just saw in the graphics. 6 points to Stewart, 5 to Meyer, 5 to Czelarski. Morgan Niski's obviously decided tonight's going to be his night as far as this points race is concerned. Now a bit of an attack from Regan Goff, a silver medalist in the team pursuit, riding here for New Zealand. It was a great performance by the New Zealanders last night in the team pursuit for men. And Cameron Meyer again trying to stretch this race out just a little bit more. .15 laps to go. Mark Stewart now tests the legs of everyone else. Downey goes immediately to get on his wheel. Mark Stewart looking to score some more points to put himself top of the leaderboard. He dives onto the wheel of Cameron Meyer. Cameron Meyer just almost toying right now with the rest of this field. He looks so comfortable. Niski still the leader, 10 points. Stewart with 6, 113 laps to go. So just to remind you on the points race, we get 5 points for a win on a sprint. Sprints every 10 laps, 20 points if indeed you take a lap on the rest of the field. No one's been able to do that in this race so far, but we've got a long, long way to go. Cameron Meyer's just taken another glance around to see who's on his wheel. He can score the maximum points here. He'll move right up in the standings. So Cameron Meyer opens up the sprint to try and take this victory. So he does, he takes a sprint. That's going to help Cameron Meyer out a lot here. Goes to the top of the banking and eases up a little bit. Let's take a look at the points that time then. Cameron Meyer takes the 5, Czelarski takes 3, Imhoff takes 2, and Larson scores another point with 1. Cameron Meyer then will be the leader with Morgan Niski. There we are, 10 points each. Czelarski with 8, Mark Stewart of Great Britain with 6 points. So we've got some onboard cameras on the peloton. There's the camera on the back of Claudio Imhoff, taking a look back at the Belarusian rider just sitting behind him. A great onboard action. And just see what it's like to be right in the centre of this peloton. 107 laps to go. Another big attack then from the Polish rider Czelarski, sitting 3rd overall, can take the 20 points. Then he would be right at the top of the leaderboard. So it's 10 to Niski, 10 to Meyer, 8 to Czelarski. The Polish team is certainly extremely motivated. Good crowd in here this evening, enjoying the racing. Czelarski just needs to hold on for another 4 laps to try and take this sprint. Kenny De Ketelaere at the front of the peloton, being joined by the Italian rider Michele Scartazzini. They're just trying to cook something up between them now to take the next points or to take a lap. Kenny De Ketelaere, such a good Madison rider, 31 years of age, from Belgium. Very good in the 6 days. It'd be wonderful to see him go on the attack and try and take a lap on the rest of the field. Coming up now, 102 laps of racing to go. Big gap being opened up then by Czelarski. Wojciech Czelarski looks like he's going to take the maximum number of points here. And Niski needs to score some points in this sprint to stay top of the leaderboard, so he's going with this attack. It looks like we're going to see Czelarski take the 5, which he does. Behind him is the Belarusian Ramanau, and then Morgan Niski. Behind Morgan Niski was the Italian rider Scartazzini. 100 laps of racing now remain in this points race. Scartazzini has decided to go away, bronze medalist in the team pursuit. Confirmation then that Czelarski took 5, Lavassi took 3. It was a Hungarian rider. Then Niski, then Scartazzini. 98 laps of racing now remain, and Scartazzini is the rider who is on the move. Confirmation though that Czelarski leads with 13 points, Niski with 12, Meyer with 10, and Stewart down in 4th place with 6 points so far. But you can probably tell by the reaction that a big attack has now gone in, and it's come from Chun King Lok of Hong Kong, China. Big reaction now at the front of the race. Well, he's going clear. He of course did ride for Orica on the road, 5 times an Asian champion, twice a silver medalist and 1 time a bronze medalist on the track in the Asian Games. So Chun King Lok goes clear. Looking good so far. The crowd willing him to take a lap on the rest of the field. And here we are on board Scartazzini's bike, taking a look back at Claudio Imhoff, the Swiss rider. See him just trying to look up to see over the top of the rider in front. And now Chun King Lok has done his attack off the front, and Cameron Meyer catches him. The crowd will be urging him to get back into the slipstream, which he does, and we're getting close to the next sprint. 93 laps of racing remain. Coming up to the next sprint then, very shortly. If you'd like to join us on Twitter, at McCrossan is where you can join me, and at Carly McCulloch is where you can join Carly. She's going to be with us in the commentary box shortly. 92 laps to go. And the bell goes again. Who's going to take the points this time? It looks like Cameron Meyer's on the hunt again, so is Mark Stewart. And moving up on the outside comes the New Zealander, Regan Goff. Cameron Meyer goes for the points, but Regan Goff gets them. Meyer takes 2nd, Stewart takes 3rd. There's a replay. Regan Goff, the silver medalist in the team pursuit here, takes those points ahead of Cameron Meyer, with Mark Stewart of Great Britain in 3rd. There's our result. Regan Goff takes 5, Meyer takes 3, Stewart takes 2, and Lucas Liss takes 1 point. And here's the overall after 7 of the 16 sprints. We're almost at the midway point. Cameron Meyer leads, equal on points though with Czelarski and Morgan Niski and Stewart. Still up there with a chance of winning this race. Three riders then at the front of the race now, and it looks like Cameron Meyer trying to stretch this race again. There is number 59, that's the Danish rider in the red and white. Nicholas Larsson, a European champion in this discipline 3 times. He's been in the team pursuit lineup for Denmark. Number 76 of Kazakhstan swings up the track.
Watch for the lightning.
That's Nikita Panasenko. 84 laps still remain. So it looks like it's all coming back together. Still anybody's race. Still 13 points equal Meyer and Czelarski. Here goes Larsson. Larsson then, 82 laps of racing to go. Looks really comfortable. Got a nice style on the bike, so comfortable, with Cameron Meyer just pedalling across to him yet again. Being joined by Czelarski. Kenny De Ketelaere is the rider in the turquoise and black. He's riding for Belgium. We're coming up to the sprint line, and Cameron Meyer is going to cross that line, and he will take the maximum 5 points yet again. There's the Australian coach. I was talking to him just before the session started, and he said, just motivated to see these riders riding like this. Cameron Meyer 5, Czelarski 3, De Ketelaere takes 2, Nicholas Larsson takes 1 point. Cameron Meyer is riding a very clever race so far, and he's now top of the leaderboard with 18 points, starting to extend his advantage. Czelarski with 16, Nisi with 12, Mark Stewart of Great Britain sitting there in the leaders as well with 8 points. But it looks like we've got a group of 4 riders going clear, and this is dangerous for everybody. So Cameron Meyer, Larsson is also in here. Czelarski is one of the riders who's going to cross the gap, and De Ketelaere, Kenny De Ketelaere, the world champion of the Madison, so he's no slouch when it comes to taking laps, because that discipline requires it all the time. And the minute these 4 riders make it to the back of the biggest group of riders on the track, which is the peloton, sometimes it can be split up a little bit, and the commissaires have to take a bit of a view on what is the biggest part of the peloton. But these 4 riders, any moment now, are going to take a lap on the rest of the field. They're also just trying to work out whether they wait for the points to happen and then take a lap, or whether they take a lap straight away. And it looks like Czelarski has decided he just wants to take the lap. The other riders were being a little bit more cagey about it, and they were going to wait and take the points. And actually, that's what De Ketelaere and Cameron Meyer have done. And this is going to cost Czelarski. This is very, very clever. So Czelarski is now on the back of the group, and he will take 20 points. But meanwhile, this is clever riding. If you're trying to work points races out, Cameron Meyer, De Ketelaere and Larsson have held back. They haven't caught the field, and now they know that there's going to be a sprint coming up, so they're going to get the 5 points plus another 20 for lapping the field. Intelligent racing by Cameron Meyer. He is the most decorated Australian male cyclist of all time, and his experience is showing here. So Meyer, De Ketelaere and Larsson are going for the sprint. De Ketelaere takes it, Meyer takes it, Larsson takes it, but they also now take 20 points. It's going to shuffle everything around. 70 laps to go. That was clever. That was very, very clever indeed. So let's take a look at the confirmation of the results. Results of sprint number 9. De Ketelaere took 5, Cameron Meyer took 3, Larsson took 2, and Teruel took 1. Teruel normally we would see much more involved in the action. He's been twice a silver medalist, one times a bronze medalist in this race. Cameron Meyer now leads. He's in the gold medal position, 41 points to the 36 of Chelarski. So hopefully if you're new to watching this race, you understand what's going on. Those 20 points have been accumulated by Meyer, Chelarski, Decisive and Larsen, which puts those 4 riders in with the shout of the gold medal. The other riders now need to either score lots of points along the way, or they need to lap the field. And of course Cameron Meyer, Chelarski, Decisive and Larsen are going to protect this now that they have got the advantage on the rest of the field. So there has to be a real big acceleration for a rider to go away and score 20 points. So the likes of Niski, Stewart, Goff have got to now chase points in the individual sprints. Well, Cameron Meyer last night guided that young squad to the Team Pursuit world title. It was really inspiring to see the way that he took all of them, brought them along with him, got the world title. Of course, it's a big team effort. You need that little bit of motivation when you've got some young riders. Meyer goes to the top of the track. Trailed immediately by Andreas Graf. Graf is not really figuring in this race the way he did last year. He's sitting in 8th place at this moment in time. And it looks like we have a problem for the Japanese rider who is coming in, and that is Takuto Kurobayashi. Another lap to go to the next sprint. 60 laps of racing will remain. And it looks like Meyer's going to try and stamp his authority now on this race to make sure he can open up a big advantage. He's just on the shoulder of Larsen. And Regan Goff sneaks through to score another 5, puts him up on 10 points now. So he's edging closer and closer, but it's going to be a lot of points need to be accumulated before the end of the race. Looks like Goff took it. Meyer will have taken 2 points by the looks of things. We'll get confirmation in just a moment. 59 laps to go. 5 points to Goff. Larsen takes 3, Meyer takes 2, and Kenny Decatela takes 1 point. 10 sprints, 6 sprints now remain. Cameron Meyer extends his advantage now to 7 points, so 1 complete sprint over Chelarski. Nicholas Larsen takes 3rd there at this moment in time, and Kenny Decatela is in 4th. So the fight is for the bronze medal for sure. Big acceleration now on the front of this race as Mark Stewart decides to try and go away. He's been joined up with Scartazzini. Also the Kazakhstan rider, who's the rider in the aqua blue and yellow, goes across there as Nikita Panasenko. But it looks like that attack has now been nullified, and it's Cameron Meyer, who is so strong tonight, who goes across to those leaders and catches them, brings the race all back together. So another couple of riders are going to try their luck. But I think Meyer has got this race exactly how he wants it. He's got 3 other riders to worry about. He doesn't have to be concerned about anyone else in this peloton. Well, there's some riders feeling the tempo in here tonight. They've dropped away. So the rider from Hong Kong, China is dropping out. Chung King Lok, not the race he wanted in front of a home crowd. Those legs are giving up after that big attack earlier on. Coming up to the next sprint, 51 laps of racing remain. And this next sprint lap, Cameron Meyer yet again is on the front of the race. Mark Stewart is right in on the wheel. He desperately needs points. Cameron Meyer takes another 5. Stewart takes 3. Decisive takes 2. Cameron Meyer with that mirrored visor on. No one can see his eyes. He must just be sparkling right now. Confirmation of sprint number 11. Stewart took 3, behind Meyer taking 5. Cameron Meyer looking around all the time, see where everybody is. 48 points now. He's got an 11-point advantage on the rest of the field. Czelarski with 37. Decisive is up there on 30, and Larsen is on 30. So the fight right now is for the bronze medal between the rider in red and white for Denmark, on there on the front of the bunch before he swung up, Nicholas Larsen, and Decisive in the blue with the Belgian flag colours around the middle. Three riders were just trying to go clear then, and Cameron Meyer just closed it down. .46 laps to go. Decisive goes to the front. He's sitting in the bronze medal position. Thanks very much for all your messages. Ant McCrossan is where you can message me. Kirsty Baxter, thank you very much for your message. Nice to hear from you. Looks like Cameron Meyer, for any Aussie fans, is the man who's on fire right now. He is leading this race. And another big attack. He comes from Ireland. And Mark Downey is desperately trying now to take his 20 points, which would put him up the standings into 5th place. So Downey of Ireland goes clear. Now he's going to try and put the pressure on the back straight. Good Madison rider, rides with Felix English. And looks like Downey is going to pick up at least one sprint by the looks of things. See whether he does. Certainly the pace has gone out the front of this peloton. Decisive looks around. They're not too worried about Mark Downey yet. If he takes the lap and the points, he'd be on 26, so he'd still be 4 points behind the bronze medal position. But Mark Downey not giving in. The sprint starts to happen. It looks very dicey now. Regan Goff trying to go for the sprint now. Downey's going to hold on. He needs his legs to just hold something on so he can get the 20 points. This has been a big effort. He'll hope that the peloton calm down now, and they do. So they all calm down, and now Downey's going to give this as much as he can to try and get across. A little bit of an acceleration. Downey took 5, Regan Goff took 3, Larsen 2, and Matthias took 1. Looks like the peloton are keen to bring this Irish rider back. Let's take a look at the overall. Cameron Meyer still 11 points ahead of Czelarski on 37, Larsen on 32, Kenny Decisive on 30, and Downey is now getting close to taking this lap. Just needs to try and accelerate, but when you've been out for so long, those legs really give up. Downey has to do this now. If he doesn't do it, he will be caught by the peloton. He's moved up into 8th place. If he moves up a little bit more, then he would move himself up into 5th place. So Mark Downey is just left out there to dry right now. Coming across to him, a group of 5 riders. So 6 riders now at the front of the race. "35 laps of racing to go." And just to remind you then, Cameron Meyer, 48 points at the front of the race now. 37 for Chelarski. The front of the race now is that little group of riders. 6 riders are clear. Mark Downey is still in there, but the rest of the peloton are in pieces. There's kind of 3 groups left on the track now. Claudio Imhoff is on the front of the race for Switzerland. But it doesn't look like they're going anywhere. Regan Goff of New Zealand keen to bring this back together to protect his 5th place that he's in. One lap to go to the sprint. And the 6 riders are clear. Mark Downey could do with getting the points here for Ireland. That would have moved him up. The Hungarian rider, though, is the rider who takes the points that time, and that's Lavassi. So Lavassi starting to make a little bit of a move up the table, and still 6 riders at the front of the race. Confirmation then, Lavassi took 5, Imhoff took 3, Panasenko of Kazakhstan took 2, and Graf took 1. But it's a long excursion off the front for this group of 6. Let's take a look then at the overall standings. We've got 28 laps to go. Cameron Meyer of Australia, 48 points. Chelarski with 37. Nicholas Larsson with 32. The fight is on for the bronze medal right now between Larsson and De Ketelaere. Kenny De Ketelaere is a very, very good 6-day rider. Cameron Meyer's decided he's had enough of this group being off the front, and he's just gone on the attack, urged on by the Australian coach. Cameron Meyer goes cruising across to the leaders. He's just making this look easy on this track now. Cameron Meyer crosses that gap with ultimate ease, and now he's going to go to the front. He looks absolutely supreme. Oh, that was very, very close, that change. He went across, and then Mark Downey swung off the front, and now Cameron Meyer decides to go clear. Well, before this race, everyone was saying that potentially this is Cameron Meyer's race to lose. And when you've got that much pressure, you can certainly crack, but Cameron Meyer is doing nothing like that at all. 48 points he's got, and he's just riding away from everybody. He's about to lap 2 riders in front of him. What a stunning performance by this Australian rider. He looks supreme. He just looks heads and shoulders above everybody else this evening. Cameron Meyer looking so good on this track. Smooth as anything. Comes across. 1 lap to go to the next sprint with 20 laps to go. And no one is able to touch this Australian. He literally is on a different level to everyone else in this field. Cameron Meyer comes up. 5 more points go onto his tally. 53 points that will put him on. But now he's intent on catching the field. This will give him 2 laps on the entire field. 1 lap on a group and 2 laps on the rest of the riders in this race. And Cameron Meyer, for Australia, he's already won 1 gold medal. And if this continues, Cameron Meyer is going to be the world champion in the points race. And the whole crowd are just appreciating a rider on the very top level of his form. Cameron Meyer rides across, and he's going to take another 20 points. What a ride by the most decorated male Australian cyclist of all time. Cameron Meyer now takes 20 points, and there is no doubt whatsoever he just has to stay upright. thumbs up from the coach. 17 laps to go. And Morgan Niesky now is even suffering. 17 laps to go. Cameron Meyer, 73 points. He's 33 points ahead of the rest of the field. Celarski, 40 points. Larson, 32. Kenny De Ketelaere with 30. This is just a display of how to ride a points race. He might as well write the textbook, because no one else has ridden a points race like this. 15 laps to go. 14 laps of racing now remain. It's all about the bronze medal. Larson and De Ketelaere are going to fight it out for those points. Celarski on 40 points in second place. Cameron Meyer has just ridden back through the field, goes to the front. It's just like he's got the rest of the riders on a string. Like a cat playing with a mouse. Cameron Meyer just can do whatever he feels like to go clear. Larson is on the wheel of Cameron Meyer. Well, if you ever want to know how to ride a points race, save this, play it over and over. You won't get a better race than this to watch. Regan Goff is coming up to the next sprint. Meyer, despite having 73 points, decides that he's just going to win the points again. Rides his way up to the wheel of Regan Goff. Larson is on his wheel. Larson is looking for the points here to take the bronze medal. Meyer takes 3. Larson will take 2. And I think that's going to put Larson into a position where Kenny De Ketelaere has to win the last sprint, and Larson must not score in order for him to take the bronze medal away. 15 sprints. Regan Goff takes 5, Meyer takes 3, and that leaves the overall standings looking like this. Cameron Meyer with 76 points, Celarski with 40, Larson with 34, De Ketelaere with 30. Larson now is just going to try and get away to win the last sprint to get this bronze medal for Denmark. Larson there in the red and white, European champion in the points race, so he's got some good form in this discipline. He wants the World Championship bronze medal, but De Ketelaere now makes his way up to the front. In fact, the Hong Kong China rider now goes. Chung King Lok is going to please the fans with the final sprint of the night. He looks around to see where everybody is. Nick Larson is up there. And the crowd all get on their feet. They just want him to win the last sprint. Cameron Meyer goes to the top of the track. Get ready to greet the world champion. There is absolutely no doubt where this medal is going. It's going all the way back to Australia. 5 laps to go. Eloy Terror is there. Cameron Meyer is looking around. He doesn't want to catch the rider from Hong Kong, China, because he knows what it means to the crowd. And he gets onto the wheel of Larson. Larson needs the points desperately, so Cameron Meyer wants him to be the villain. Larson looks around to see where everyone is. He looks to see where De Ketelaere is, who doesn't seem to have the legs in this final sprint, but you never know with Kenny De Ketelaere. We come round now with 2 laps of racing to go. Cameron Meyer goes to the top. Kenny De Ketelaere has to be the villain here. He needs the 5 points, and he needs Larson not to score. And Larson is suffering here, so Larson could be losing this medal. Kenny De Ketelaere's going for it. Is he going to take the bronze medal away from Larson of Denmark? De Ketelaere is absolutely firing now. If Larson doesn't score any points, he'll lose the bronze medal. Imhoff is racing him here. They're going round the final couple of turns. De Ketelaere's done everything he can. Larson is about to lose the bronze medal. De Ketelaere takes it. He will take the bronze. What a finish. Kenny De Ketelaere takes 5 the final sprint. But Cameron Meyer is the world champion with an incredible race. Cameron Meyer, he could have ridden half of the race and beaten everyone else. What an absolutely thrilling race by Cameron Meyer, the world champion for Australia. It doesn't get much better than that. The average speed was 52 kilometers an hour, so 10 points to Kenny Decatola, which in fact puts him into the silver medal position because he's tied on points with Chelarski, and Chelarski gets the bronze, and Larson will take nothing after such a great race. So right on cue, we might as well get a little bit of reaction, because welcome to a rider, of course, who's a triple world champion and has already won a silver medal here in these championships. Kylie McCulloch, a warm welcome, perfect timing. Give us your reaction to that race.
Cameron Meyer back in the team with us. He was at the World Championships last year, but this year he was just a man on a mission. So to see it actually come to fruition is absolutely amazing.
He looks like he's just he's come back after that gap that he had, and he had that break when he came off the road and went back to the track. And I saw him yesterday, and he just seems totally relaxed, like everything is cool for him.
Yeah, look, you know, he's a funny character. I think he plays the cool, calm card, but I know that he would have been pretty nervous. I actually went to Junior Worlds with him, so I've been through his career, and so I know him quite well. So I know what this will mean to him tonight. He's got his family in the crowd, and it certainly is another fantastic rainbow to add to his collection.
But when you look at it, he's finished 36 points ahead of the rest of the field, which is just incredible, isn't it, in a points race at world level.
You know, I think that this is his favourite event, so I think that this means a lot to him. I know that he's been preparing meticulously back in Adelaide with the CA high performance program, and I know that he's just done everything possible to make sure that he can come here at this World Championships this year and maybe win 3 World Championships. It's
very possible now, isn't it?
It certainly is.
It's certainly on. Congratulated by Simon Jones, who's the new performance director of Australian cycling. He's only been in his job for a week, so he can't take any credit for this, but he must be enjoying watching a group of athletes that he's now got the opportunity to work with.
Yeah, look, Simon came into the camp just before we left to come to Hong Kong, and he basically stood up in front of us and said, you know, you guys are the talented athletes. We need this to be an athlete-centered program, and this is all about you. And I think we all took a great amount of motivation from that. He's certainly on our side. He sits and has breakfast with us in the mornings, and you know, it's just a really good vibe in the team at the moment, and he's certainly already contributing to that.
Well, that's good, isn't it? Because I guess it makes you feel like you're integral to that whole program, and you're helping to shape it rather than just it being dictated to.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that for me personally, living and training in Sydney away from the high performance program, I know that it's really important that, you know, this is my career, this is my dreams and ambitions, and certainly I know Cameron's like that as well. And then when you put the team behind that and you've got that structure, it's just, you know, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Well, thank you for joining us here this evening. You're going to be with us through the next few rounds of racing. Confirmation on the screen, Cameron Meyer wins the world title, 76 points ahead of Kenny Decatola with that final sprint to just take the silver medal, in fact, away from Chelarski, who takes bronze, and Larson ends up with nothing. It's a cruel sport sometimes, isn't it?
It certainly is, and you know, with that 10 points for the last, the double points for the last sprint certainly throws a spanner in the works, and Kenny certainly took advantage of that and got himself from the 4th place right up into the silver. Yeah,
very, very impressive. But Kenny Decatola is such a good 6-day rider that he's always thinking about how the points will add up. Anyway, let's turn our attention to the discipline that you know all about. This is the women's sprint semi-finals, and we're going to bring you heat number 1, which has Stephanie Morton up on the track against Simona Krupskaita of Lithuania. You rode with Stephanie. Congratulations on the silver medal in the team sprint, in the fastest time set by an Australian team ever in the team sprint. So Stephanie's up on the track now. What sort of form is she in right now?
Look, I think she's in career best form, to be honest with you. She certainly was really fast in the qualification yesterday and then also in the team sprint. You know, I think she's got a little bit of Rio revenge in her blood. She didn't perform as well as she wanted to there, so I'm rooming with her at the moment. She's been in a really good mood. She's been pretty relaxed. She's nervous, but I've never seen her so calm, so I think she's got a really good shot here tonight.
So you can be nervous and calm at the same time?
Yeah, I think that nerves are part of what we do, but it's just how you handle them, and it's probably the first time that I've actually seen her and go, you know what, she could win the rainbows here today.
Okay, let's see how she does then. So this is sprint number 1. Just to explain to you, of course, that we have 3 races, so we can go to a decider, and we now lead off with Krupskaita at the front, and she has to lead off for the first part of this sprint.
Yeah, that's correct. She has to lead for at least the first half of the lap, and then she can do a track stand if she wants to go to the back of the race. So
half a lap then until she can start to manoeuvre Morton where she wants her to be. Krupskaita, though, of course, has got a great palmares in this event. She's been 3 times the silver medalist, twice the bronze medalist as well. She's such a good sprinter, isn't she? She's been around for a long, long time.
She's so strong as well. She just pushes a really, really big gear, and that's really hard to race against. So as we see now, she winds up that big gear. She's trying to keep Steph low on the track. Now it's the bell lap comes. Steph's gone early. This is great move by Steph.
So Krupskaita is now keeping her up the track a little bit. Here we go. Stephanie Morton into the wheel.
Here goes Steph. She's hit the back wheel. Krup is nearly out of that sprinter's lane, but she's got the edge over Steph as they come to the line.
Oh, that was
very
close. Krupskaita wins it though with that ride. She almost did the Awang wheelie as well across the line, I think. In fact, the front wheel is pretty much off the ground as she threw the bike at the line. Very close between those 2 riders.
Very close, and yeah, with that throwing to the line, we have to practice that all the time, and Krupskaita certainly is a genius at that. We saw last night she won by 0.001 of a second in the quarterfinal last night.
Oh yeah, that was true. That was so close. So Krupskaita will go 1-0 up in the sprints. Now Stephanie Morton, what happens when she goes back into the centre of the track? Does she just sit and refocus, or can she watch what's happened and try and analyse the tactics?
So normally the process is we go back in, we settle down for a little bit, get our breath back, and then the coaches will come and ask us, you know, what can we do better to try and execute better in the next race. And the best thing with the semi-finals is that it's the best of 3, so Steph's got another chance here. It's not over yet.
Okay, we're on the track then. The entire nation in this velodrome is behind this rider, Wai Chu Lee, Sarah Lee as she's affectionately known here on the track. She grew up a 10-minute car ride from here. She was born in Kowloon here in Hong Kong, and she grew up very, very close to this track, which of course wasn't here until a couple of years ago. But she's a really fierce competitor, and you know better than anybody about that because you rode against her yesterday.
Yeah, look, you know, I think I was a little bit unlucky to draw her in the quarterfinal. She's definitely in career best form. We saw her hit a 5.2 to the 100 yesterday, which is the fastest that I've ever seen a woman go. So her acceleration is on point here. This is going to be a really good race between the Olympic champion and the hometown favourite.
Yep, so Christina Vogel is the rider at the back here in the white and black of Germany. Christina Vogel, as Carly just said, the Olympic champion up against Sarah Lee. And she's got to get her tactics right. So if you say that Sarah Lee is right on form and the fastest opening split, how does Christina Vogel work her tactics out to beat a rider like this?
It's going to be interesting actually, because Vogel typically has quite a long sprint, and I think Sarah Lee likes to keep it quite short. So this is going to be a very big cat and mouse game, as we can see now. Sarah Lee really wants to try and force Christina to the front, but Christina doesn't want to go to the front. So at the moment it's all just the head games. Sarah Lee takes it down the track, winding up slowly here.
Why does she take her down the track like that? Because she doesn't want Christina to get the height?
Exactly, so the more height you have, the more speed that you can gain. So this is interesting. Christina's taken height up the track here as Sarah Lee goes forward. It's going to be a very long drag race here.
This crowd are going absolutely mad. Sarah Lee opens up the gas down the back straight. Christina Vogel trying to get round the top.
Absolutely incredible turn of speed there by Sarah Lee. She comes up the home straight. Oh, Vogel's just good enough there.
What a ride by Christina Vogel to get past Sarah Lee just before the finishing line. Very, very impressive.
Very impressive and very fast as well. 11-1 to the 200. That's as good as you get in women's sprint racing. So this is certainly a semi-final match for the ages.
Well, if you were cheered on by this crowd, you'd certainly be extremely motivated. Take a look at this, Carly.
Yeah, Sarah Lee's just come out of the sprinters lane there, but I don't think she'll get penalised for that. She just probably didn't have quite enough speed coming into the final 200. As you see, Vogel's just got over her into bend 3. Normally, if you hit bend 3 in front on the second wheel, you normally get over in the front straight, as you can see now as Vogel throws to the line.
It's a lovely camera shot above the riders. You can just see how fast they're travelling towards that camera. And there's the winning margin. She wins it by about a wheel there at the finish. Christina Vogel on really good form though as well.
Absolutely, and you know, she's an Olympic champion for a reason. She's one of those riders that you hate to race because you know that she's never going to make a mistake. So it's just fantastic to see her back out here also so soon from Rio. And I'm hoping to get some tough battles in with her as we head towards Tokyo. Yeah,
the 4-year cycle has already started.
It certainly has.
She's got such a high cadence, hasn't she? She seems to ride, you talk about Krupskaya, who rides a big gear. Vogel seems to ride, or am I wrong? She looks like she rides a smaller gear and revs it.
Yeah, everyone's slightly different. Everyone has a little bit of different strengths and weaknesses. So Krupskaya is just extremely strong, so that favours the big gear. Vogel's is normally somewhere around the middle, and someone like Sarah Lee is actually around the lower end. So that also affects the tactics. So you have to go into races thinking, okay, this person is going to be riding a smaller gear, that person's going to be riding a bigger gear. How can I put myself in the best position to win?
It's all intricate, isn't it? This working out of what you do as far as sprinting's concerned, because it's very easy just to watch it and go, okay, it's a 3-lap sprint. Yes. But it's nothing like that, is it?
No, and I often get the comment, why don't you just ride from the front and just go fast for 3 laps? And I wish it was that simple, but unfortunately it's not. So there's definitely a lot more tactics involved than just going flat gas from the start.
Well, if you'd like to ask anything in a moment of Carly, I'll give you a Twitter handle. Let's just recap, because we're about to turn our attention to the women's omnium, and this is what happened in the scratch race. Katie Archibald on the front with Amy Cure in second place, and these two riders going to try and take the maximum points in the scratch race. It was Archibald who took first for Great Britain. Amy Cure of Australia took second place. So Archibald coming into the omnium. She's ridden an omnium before in a European Championship. She's been the European champion, and after one event she was top of the leaderboard with Amy Cure second and Kirsten Wield, of course, one of the fastest sprinters on the road, in third place. We then went into what is a bit of a unique event, the tempo race, and Amy Cure and Katie Archibald went on the attack and took a lap on the rest of the field. So it meant that those two were again at the front of the race. They have dominated this omnium competition so far, and when we went for the final sprint, there was one rider away, Lydia Boylan of Ireland, but that was pretty academic because when we get to the finishing sprint, Katie Archibald and Amy Cure were at the front of the race again, and so far Katie Archibald has maximum points and Amy Cure is sitting in second place. Here we are, 80 points to Archibald, 72 to Amy Cure, 68 to Wield, and Hammer is also up there in fourth place. Now the omnium has totally changed, just to explain to you. It used to be 2 days, 6 events, just to confuse everyone, but it will get used to it. It's now 1 day, 4 events, and 4 different events. So we now have the elimination race coming up. We have a scratch race, a tempo race, elimination race, and then we finish with the points race at the end of today. It's quite hard to get your head round, but it's okay. We're underway then in the elimination race. And the bunch is all together. So the elimination race, just to explain, all the action takes place at the back of the race. Riders get eliminated all the way through until we get down to the last couple of riders. And then from there, the race is decided. It's quite a hard race, Carly, to calculate, isn't it? And riders have all their own tactics again.
It certainly is, and it's probably one of the most exciting races on the track because you actually get eliminated from the back. So there's often a big whoosh as you come up the home straight. As we can see now as they cross the line. Not sure, number 41 there was eliminated. So
it looks like the rider from Chinese Taipei has been eliminated, which is Seng Ku-chin, eliminated immediately. They have these little orange boxes on their handlebars which flash a light and tell them they've been eliminated. And I must admit, I've been stood in the track centre in the Olympic Games next to the commissaires, looking at the photo finish and announcing the riders. This is pretty stressful.
It definitely is one of the more stressful races on the track just to pick because they're all crossing the line at the same time. Sometimes it's not quite as definite.
Looks like that time it was number 25 who was eliminated, and that is Kajiara Yumi of Japan, who has been eliminated that time.
You'll see typically what happens in the elimination race is that there's always a change in lead because the pace is always quite hot. So as the front rider starts to fade, you see the back riders come up. And obviously it's the sort of race where you want to be at the front of the race. So as we can see now, Sarah Hemmer's making a big move around the back. She's in a bad position here. Oh, and there's been a crash.
Huge crash. 3 riders coming down. The Canadian rider sliding a long, long way there. So we're likely to see... So Stephanie Rauder rode straight over the top of the rider who crashed. Normally there's a neutralisation, yet the flag is out. So for the safety and the health of the riders, the first thing they do is bring the flag out. Also crashing was the Italian rider Elisa Balsamo. So here's the replay of the crash. They just had nowhere to go.
Yeah, as I said, it gets very, very tight here as they come up to the line, and the Italian rider just had nowhere to go there. It's just clipped the back wheel of the Belgian girl, and that is a nasty crash.
Big crash from the Canadian rider. Stephanie Rauder has hit the deck pretty heavily there. And Amy Cure almost hit it as well. So Elisa Balsamo touched the wheel. Oh, that's a very heavy crash.
Yeah, that's not good. I hope she's okay.
Well, she's lying down in front of us at the moment, and always the medics are out. She literally had nowhere to go. Elisa Balsamo is a World Junior Champion, European Champion of the team pursuit.
You see the Italian rider's back up on the bike now. She's got a bit of skin off, which is unfortunate, and that's what happens in track racing. When you come off, you normally get the burns and the splinters, so she's going to be quite sore tonight. Balasite
of Lithuania was also in the crash. She's got an awful lot of track burns as well. And they are just looking after Stephanie Rauder. They won't let this race go on until they are sure that she is fine. And they're just, as usual, with the precautions. They are making sure she is okay, putting her into a neck brace, which is always a precaution. And the doctor is with her from the UCI, and he's always on all these big track events. And he said that the race is okay to go on. So they are just tending to her, and then they'll move her onto a stretcher and take her into the centre of the track. So the race is recommenced again now, and the Lithuanian's unfortunately found herself at the back, so she's going to have to try and make herself up around, find herself back to the front. So this is Balasite on the back of the group. The adrenaline, when you've had a big crash like that, kind of carries you for a few laps, and then it hits you, doesn't it? It certainly does. Looks like she might have been eliminated, though. I'm not sure she managed to get past any other rider. Big track burn on the side of her. She can get looked after now. So Balasite, a round of applause from the appreciative crowd here for her, and also just to let you know that Stephanie Rauder hasn't gone on the stretcher. These girls are made of tough stuff. She's decided to get up and walk into the track centre, and she says, I don't need a stretcher, thank you very much. Good on her. That's great to see when they get up and you can sort of breathe a sigh of relief. So anyone who was worried about Stephanie Rohde, she's up and walking, and the twice bronze medalist in the World Championships in the team pursuit is not going to take further part in this elimination race, as we now see the German rider eliminated. We'll turn our attention back to the action. So Tatiana Paula has been eliminated, and the rider in trouble now at the back of the group is Lu Chaoling of China. She seems to be riding an intelligent race. Elisa Balsamo doesn't seem to be too shaken by her crash. She's still there. Normally
the Italians are made of tough stuff, so it's great to see her still there.
Yep, she moves up on the outside, and it looked like number 20. Oh no, the Chinese rider, Lu Chaoling, is eliminated.
Yeah, so what happened with Lu Chaoling then was she actually went underneath the bunch, and that's actually quite a dangerous move, because as the bunch gains speed as they come up the straight, when you're on the bottom of the track, you're in trouble.
Well, you may remember in the Olympic Games, Mark Cavendish was eliminated in the men's elimination for going onto the blue in the elimination, and that cost him any chance of winning the gold medal. So you have to be tactically good as well.
You certainly do, and you have to have those bike handling skills. You can see how close the girls are at the moment, so you can easily get pushed down onto that blue. So you have to be able to take a bit of a hit out there on the track, and as we can see now, the Spanish girls just riding underneath wheels, so you've got to pull your bike back. It's extremely physical, and then when you put on top of that how fast it is as well.
Jamila Machakova, the world champion of this discipline, the points race in 2013, has just been eliminated, so she's out. The rider is in trouble now is Sarah Hammer, and Sarah Hammer goes round the top.
Katie Archibald's in a fair bit of trouble here. She's the leader, and she's going to have to sprint to the end here.
Whoa, she just, I think, managed to get through, and I think she might have eliminated Lydia Boylan of Ireland. She almost just went to sleep there for a moment, didn't she?
Well, that's the elimination race. You can find yourself in a good position one lap, and then half a lap later you're at the back. So you have to be constantly on your game.
It's like a washing machine.
Exactly.
Going the wrong way round. Maybe, I don't know whether spins go right or left, but anyway, let's guess what it feels like. Sarah Hammer moves around the top of the track to try and get herself into the action now. The silver medalist in the Omnium in London 2012, and twice a silver medalist, twice the world champion, silver medalist in this Omnium, but now it's completely changed, so nothing like she would have ridden before, as number 32 is eliminated, and that's the rider from Norway who's been taken out of the action. That's Anita Stenberg.
You can see Amy Kewer now on the front, just dictating the pace. She's actually swinging up here. That's not a bad tactic.
Amy looks like she's on very, very good form at this moment in time. She did some big, big turns in the team pursuit last night.
Yeah, she's in really, really good form. She's had a bit of a break from the Olympics, so she's come back out firing, and I think she's enjoying this new format to the Omnium, being more bunch race style, and that's certainly her strength.
The rider from Hong Kong, China, Pang Yao, is eliminated, the Asian champion in the team pursuit previously. So she's been eliminated and taken out of the action, and yet again Sarah Hammer finds herself right at the back of the group. She's not enjoying this elimination, is she?
It could also be her tactic. She is very, very fast, so generally you can build speed down the back straight. As you can see now, she's coming around, she's got way more speed than everyone else, and she'll just roll down the home straight with a lot more speed.
She just glances around, and it looks like the rider from Slovakia got eliminated that time. Pavlendova is now out of the race as well, so she's taken out of the action.
And this is where the tactics will start to come in with your big hitters like Wild from Netherlands, Amy Kewer from Australia, Michaela Drummond from New Zealand. So it's going to start to get quite tactical now.
Well, they have to make sure that they get themselves into the right position here. Katie Archibald leads 80 points, Amy Kewer 72. Just to explain, there's 40 points if you win the elimination, 38 if you're second, 36 and so on. Finally, Elisa Balsamo is eliminated. She stayed in for a long, long time.
She's done very well after that crash, so I think she should be quite proud of herself.
You remember the Omnium, if you crashed, you had 2 days of racing. Today, I guess it's not so bad because it's one day. You've just got to get yourself through today's racing and try and just dull out the pain.
That's exactly right, and you know, it's always worse with the crash 24 hours afterwards, so she'll be just riding off the adrenaline at the moment.
Katie Archibald is making tough work of this elimination race as she goes to the top of the track, and she goes past the French rider there, and that is Roxane Fournier. Looks like Roxane is eliminated. She's looking down. Oh no, the New Zealander has been eliminated, so Michaela Drummond is now out of the race. Roxane Fournier was looking down at that orange box thinking, don't flash.
Exactly, and you definitely don't want to see that flash.
Amy Cure on the front. Kirsten Wield moves up on her right shoulder. Kirsten Wield, a world champion of the scratch race in 2015. 3 times a European champion and silver medalist in the World Championship as well, who was eliminated that time. Number 43 is taken out of the race. Tatiana Klimchenko of the Ukraine is now taken out of the action. Hammer is using it as a tactic, isn't she?
I definitely think she is. She's just following Katie around there and just trying to pip them on the line as they come across.
Well, thank you for your messages on Twitter as we get towards the end of this race. At Carly McCulloch is where you can get hold of Carly, and at Ant McCrossan is where you can get hold of me if you would like to. You can ask us any questions as the racing continues. If we get a little bit of a gap, which is a little bit difficult here, that was very, very close. I'm not sure it wasn't Roxane Fournier or the Spanish rider who was taken out that time. So it was the Spanish rider who is eliminated, Ana Usubiaga, taken out of the group. The numbers flapping in the wind. Sarah Hammer just tracking Katie Archibald. Amy Cure staying out of trouble. The Belgian rider is Lotte Kopecky, who just finished 5th in a Tour of Flanders. And Hammer moving up on the outside yet again. Archibald and her racing. Roxane Fournier, again the rider in trouble.
Here we go as we come up to the line. It looks like Hammer's going to get caught out this time. This will be a very interesting call.
Who's eliminated? It is Roxane Fournier of France, a rider from FDJ, winner of Grand Prix d'Autigny, also has won 2 stages of the Route de France. Finally, she is removed from the action. So we're down to the last 6, and there's some big names in here now.
Certainly is. These are the girls that are at the front of the points classification at the moment. So this is going to be all important about getting around the track. As we could see, the French girl getting caught out on the bottom of the track. So you definitely don't want to be on the bottom. As we see, Sarah's in a bit of trouble here again. Yep, and it looks like she's going to be eliminated. Sarah
Hammer is finally eliminated from the group, wearing number 44 from the United States of America. So we're down to the last 5 riders in this group. This is going to be an interesting tussle between these riders.
It certainly is. So we've seen Katie do a fair bit of work at the back like Sarah. So it's going to be interesting to see if she's got many legs left. And we've also seen Wield and Cure being at the front of the race. So this is just going to be a race of grit now.
The Polish rider is Daria Pikulik, who is one of the youngest riders in the field, and she's getting stronger in the omnium all the time. Kirsten Wield looks around. She's going to use her strength and sprint as they go across the line that time, and it looks like, I think it was Katie Archibald who's been eliminated. So now a big opportunity for Amy Cure to make her way to the top of the leaderboard overall in this race. If she can win, she would go to the top of the leaderboard in this omnium competition. So Katie Archibald unfortunately makes a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, and Amy's in a great position here, sitting in second wheel. She doesn't have to push as much wind, so she's just going to try and hold the Polish girl out, which she's doing quite well. As she puts the power down now, and she'll be safe as we cross the line here.
Lotte Kopecky squeezes up on the inside, but she's eliminated from the race. She is from Belgium, a very good road rider, Lotte Kopecky. Belgium think she is the talent of the future, but she's doing it now rather than being the future. She's doing very, very well indeed on the road and on the track. And to come from the road and straight onto the World Championship track is extremely difficult. 3 riders left, Wield, Pikulik in the red and white, and Amy Cure.
Big acceleration on the back straight there. Oh, it looks like the Polish girl's given up here.
She shakes her head and says, no, there's no way I can do anything about that acceleration. So now it is down to the 2 big names, Kirsten Wield and Amy Cure. Who's going to take this?
So interesting, Wield's such a strong sprinter on the road and on the track. She's just so strong. Amy's got a good long sprint, as you can see now. She's starting to wind it up. She's going to try and hold Wield out here.
Here we go then. Here's the sprint. Amy Cure is going to open up the gas. Wield is right on the wheel of Amy Cure as they go for the line, but Amy Cure is turning on the pressure on Kirsten Wild. This is an impressive sprint by Amy Cure. She's going to win the elimination race.
That was a great final lap there from Amy. Normally you see the riders go up the track and sort of do a bit of a cat and mouse, but Amy's just backed herself in there and she's taken the win.
That's very, very impressive to lead from the front against a sprinter like Kirsten Wild.
Certainly was. That's extremely impressive and certainly good signs for the points race that's coming up soon.
Well, it means that we're going to have a pretty enticing points race because Katie Archibald and Amy Cure will now be tied on points at the top of the standings after that race. So Amy has closed right up. In fact, I'm not entirely sure that Amy shouldn't be right at the top of the leaderboard, but in fact, she is right at the top of the leaderboard. And we're just going to check the standings. They're kind of changing around on my scoreboard right now. I won't say anything until they're right, but I reckon that Amy Cure should be the leader of this race, surely, because she's had 38 points, 38 and 34, so they're tied on points on 110. Very, very close between them. So it's going to come down to who scores the most points in the points race.
Yeah, and we can't forget Wild, Hammer either, who are really not that far behind. Anything can happen in the points race. I believe it's double points again at the end of the sprint as well. So they're going to have to mark each other. They're going to have to be on their game, and it's going to be the battle of the fittest out there, I think.
Well, it's certainly going to be a great end to the Omnium competition. Amy Cure has done what she needs to do. She's put herself now in striking distance of a gold medal. So close to a gold last night as well. How close was that women's team pursuit?
It was so close, and we felt for the girls. They were up and going into that last lap and just got pipped on the line. So it was a fantastic race by the Aussie girls, but also absolutely amazing by the American girls to get out there and win the rainbows.
There's confirmation on the screen. Amy Cure 112 points, Katie Archibald 112, Kirsten Wild now with 106. Hammer is still there in fourth place with 96. And then we've got the youngsters, Daria Pikulik and Elisa Balsamo, who are both there in fifth and sixth places. And of course, if you take a lap in the points race, you get 20 points. So this race is not over yet for anybody. They have to concentrate all the way through. And riders who are further down could find themselves moving up into the medals.
Yeah, certainly. I believe this happened last year in the men's Omnium. There was people down around the 15th, 16th place actually finishing in the top 10 because they've taken laps or they've got points in the sprint. So it certainly is still anybody's race out there, and it's not over till it's over.
Amy Cure having a discussion about the race. Is this normal? You just always try and analyse what went on? Or just have to unwind a bit?
Yeah, I think it's good to come in and get anything off your chest. If there's something that you thought you could have done better or something that you can improve on, the coaches, that's why we have the coaches there. They're there to help us, to give us some guidance. And certainly Amy will be talking to the coach, Gary Sutton, in detail before they head out into that points race, and there'll be a strategy, and hopefully she can stick to that strategy and it'll hopefully pay off with a rainbow jersey.
They're repairing the track now after those crashes to make sure it's at least nice and smooth. This was the crash that we saw. Everyone is okay. Really heavy crash of Stephanie Rauder. She's made of tough stuff to walk away, just walk into the track centre from that. That was a really bad crash. We haven't seen very many at all, actually, apart, and most of them have involved, unfortunately, Canadians. The Canadian team pursuit men and Stephanie Rauder, and no fault of any of them.
No, that's exactly right. That's just racing sometimes. And actually in the National Championship, Kieran, only a few weeks ago, Stephanie Morton had a big crash and I actually ran over her head, which was not a pleasant experience for myself and certainly not a pleasant experience for her, but it was no one's fault. That's racing. You have to go out there almost sometimes being prepared to crash so that you can win. So this is what track cycling is made of, and it certainly is very exciting.
There's the peloton working their way around the track. Now, I wanted to ask you something before we get this racing underway, because we're about to bring the sprinters out very quickly. Earlier on today, we saw an individual pursuit from the Australian rider who was incredible. In fact, I'll ask you in a minute because we're going to turn our attention to this because we haven't got time. I thought we were going to hold Stephanie Morton and Simona Krupa-Kaita. So Simona Krupa-Kaita leads at 1-0. Stephanie Morton has to bring it back to a decider by winning this. If you were Stephanie, what would your tactics be?
I think I'd be trying to keep Simona's pace down quite low because she's got that big gear on and it's much harder to accelerate. So I'd be trying to get in her way, using the track as much as I could and keeping the sprint as short as possible.
Well, let's see whether those tactics play out. Simona Krupa-Kaita is the leader. 1-0 to Stephanie Morton. This is the semi-final, so it's all about getting through to ride off for the gold medal. Onto the Côte d'Azur now at the bottom of the track. That's that blue section. This has got a wooden runoff, this track, which is becoming pretty normal on most 250-metre tracks. Used to be that you had a nice sliding area on the inside, isn't it? Whereas now you just slide on more wood.
Exactly. So if you crash, you're sliding on more splinters, pretty much.
Not pleasant at all. So let's take a look here. Those of you just joining us now, alongside me for these races is Carly McCulloch of Australia. A pleasure to have her here to give us her insight as to what's going on. So Carly, Stephanie now on the front of the race.
Yeah, so she's staying high above the track on the blue stayers line, which is good. She comes down now to draw Simona down. Simona's committing here, so Steph needs to go. You see the coach along the sideline cheering her on. I think Steph might get the better of her here. She's just got too much pace.
Here we go then. Stephanie Morton is on the inside line. Krupa-Kaita's going round the outside. Morton looks very, very good indeed. Hits the finishing line, and Morton does take it to a decider.
That was a really excellent execution of tactics there from Steph. Probably one of the best races I've seen her do from the front. So she's certainly not out of this fight. I know that she'll be really pumped up now. And one more race to go before she can get into that gold medal ride-off.
An impressive performance by Stephanie Morton. Here she is as she makes her way around into the final turn. She just had too much speed.
Yeah, she did, and what impressed me with that is that she actually showed quite a lot of patience. She didn't go full gas until a little bit later. She normally goes a little bit earlier, so she's delayed that sprint a little bit, and as you can see there, she just got way too much more speed coming up the home straight.
Wins it by a couple of bike lengths.
Yeah, I think she actually broke Krupa-Kaita then, so that's always a nice feeling as when you're racing somebody when they give up in a race.
Yeah. 1-1. Stephanie Morton of Australia, Simona Krupa-Kaita of Lithuania. So now it's up to Krupa-Kaita to go into the track and work out what to do. Right, we are now going into race number 2 of Christina Vogel, the Olympic champion, against Sarah Lee, Wai-Chu Lee of Hong Kong, China. With the entire crowd about to cheer on. She has to bring this to a decider. How does she beat Christina Vogel?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I feel like Sarah's strength is from the back, so I think that she's still got a really good shot here. I think we're going to see a very similar race to the first race where they're going to try and out-accelerate each other down the back straight on the final lap. So as you can see, they're having a good little stare down on the line there.
There is an awful lot of mental play here on this track in sprinting, isn't there?
There certainly is. Sometimes you can actually win a race before you even get on the track. So there is certainly some mind games that go on, even just on how you look, how you walk to the pit area, how you present yourself can sometimes get into your opponent's head.
Really?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay. So you actually would practice that?
I think it's just something that comes naturally to some people. I like to try and walk confidently over. I know what my plan is. I know how good I'm going. And I want my opponent to see that. I want them to see that I'm going good.
And when you stare into the other person's eyes, even when you've got these mirrored visors on, is it just a stare or do you say something?
No, I never say anything, but I always look into their eyes because I want to see if they're going to look at me. And if they don't look at me, I always feel very confident.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. We're getting the insights you don't normally get here, so we can find out what these sprinters are all about. And they're so tough, these riders. Christina Vogel, such an incredible sprinter. 4 years on the podium in the World Championships.
Yeah, she's certainly got a great track record and she's got the experience. So she's just trying to keep the gap here with Sarah. She's trying to keep the sprint slow, I think.
But she's now got her into the slipstream and Vogel is enticing her into the lead.
This is a typical move for Sarah to take some height into bend 1. Now she's going to try and out-accelerate, like I said, but it looks like Vogel's just going way too strong here.
What a sprint here as they make their way into the finishing line. Vogel is so fast. That was an impressive race.
Absolutely, that was absolutely amazing by Vogel. She's just got such a great turn of speed. It's always really difficult when you've got the two riders that have similar strengths. So it's a little bit interesting here. I thought Vogel's was a little bit dancing on the sprinters' lane in the last bend. So it'd be interesting to see if the commissaires have a look at that footage.
So in terms of the red line, you have to be inside it once you go inside it. And if she's come out.
Yeah, I think that could be maybe a relegation or a warning. Just depends on how the commissaires are feeling.
So the rules say that once you're inside the red line, you have to stay inside the red line.
That's right, and that's a safety rule. It's also just to make sure that you don't have people chucking big hooks, as we say in sprint racing, where you take them up high in the bend. So it's just to keep everybody safe. As we can see, the commissaires are looking at the footage. I do think that this could be a relegation.
Yeah, the commissaires now. We put the commissaires panel up at the beginning of the race, and we don't normally see them until there is a decision to be made. Last night, they eliminated Joachim Eilers and Francois Pervis from the final of the men's keirin, and now they're looking at this, and the crowd want Vogel to be taken as the second place rider. Vogel won't know it yet, but they're looking very closely at the footage.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Sometimes you don't really know what the commissaires are going to do, but I've been in a situation similar to that where I've been relegated, so it wouldn't surprise me if it does go Sarah's way.
Well, normally we would hear that there has been an elimination or a change. I'm just keeping an eye on the screen just to see whether that comes up. They're still saying that Christina Vogel is 2-0.
Often the way it works is the commissaires will make a decision based on if it would have actually changed the outcome of the race. So whether the commissaires will deem that Christina moving out of that lane would have changed her winning or not is really up to them, and that will ultimately determine if she gets a warning or not.
The commissaires are looking here, but we're hearing that they have confirmed the result, that Christina Vogel will be the winner and she qualifies for the next round of the sprint.
That's absolutely fantastic for her. A bit disappointing for Sarah, but certainly she's still got a chance to bring home a medal for her country here in Hong Kong.
Well, next on the agenda then is going to be the victory ceremony of the men's points race. So we're going to bring you that shortly. And then we will then be bringing you the decider of the women's sprint, where we'll see whether Stephanie Morton can beat Simona Krupa-Keita.
Congratulations, what a massive win. With double the points of your closest contender, you gave no chances to the others.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm really happy to come off the team pursuit win last night and then back it up with a points race win. It's a dream start for me, and coming back to the track in my career, and I'm looking forward to one more race on Sunday.
We've seen you a couple of times at the highest position of the podium as a UCI world champion, but you're coming really strong. How come? What's the recipe this year?
I don't know exactly. A lot of hard training, and I'm in a great team. So I'm really happy to be back on the track and racing for rainbow jerseys, and this one's just as special as any of the other 7 that I have.
Let's talk about the nations ranking. Australia is topping the rankings with 4 medals and 2 titles. This country, I mean Australia, looks really strong so far.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic championship for us. We've started really well, and hopefully there's more to come in the next few days.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Cameron Meyer reflecting on his win in that points race. So we move to the men's points race and medal ceremony. What a thrilling race it was. The final medals, as far as silver and bronze are concerned, not decided until the very last sprint, but there was no doubt who the winner was.
The medals and UCI World Champions jersey will be presented by President of the UCI, Brian Cookson.
獎牌以及世界錦標賽冠軍戰衣將會由國際單車聯盟會長頒發。
Czelarski of Poland adds another medal to the
Winner of the
medal that
bronze
they won
medal,
last night.
representing Poland,
銅牌得主係代表波蘭。
Wojciech Czelarski.
Czelarski then of Poland takes the bronze medal. I guess the motivation of a team really starts to roll. A nation who've not got so many riders here get a gold last night. Another medal already.
Yeah, certainly you get that vibe in the team and everybody thinks something's possible. And I know that we have that feeling in the Australian team. Once somebody wins something, everybody just gets pumped up.
Kenny de Ketelaere of Belgium takes the silver medal. Great tactics from him to get away
The
in that
UCI
final
Track
lap.
Cycling World Championships men's points race, gold medalist and winner of the UCI World Champions jersey, representing Australia.
And now his 8th title.
場地單車世界錦標賽男子40公里記分賽金牌，以及世界錦標賽冠軍戰衣
He looks really proud.
代表
Yeah, he certainly does. I'm proud of him. I think he's done a fantastic job here.
Cameron Meyer. He was the world champion in 2012. He pulls on the jersey again. And the return to the track has paid big dividends for Cameron Meyer.
The prizes, including a watch provided by Tissot, will be presented by Treasurer of Cycling Association of Hong Kong, China.
There's our podium. Czelarski of Poland, Kenny de Ketelaere of Belgium, and the new world champion Cameron Meyer. Awarded with the dragons. You've got one of those.
I do. It's very cute. It's one of the best gifts that I've received. So it's really nice when the home country gives something that's quite personal to the country.
And so we'll now have the national anthem of
Ladies and
Australia.
gentlemen, the national anthem of Australia.
各位先生、各位女士，請起立。現在就澳洲國歌。
Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge all of our medalists.
Cameron Meyer, world champion of the points race. It's seeming like the morale of the Australian camp is very, very high in these championships.
Yeah, it is. I think we were all a little bit disappointed after Rio, and we obviously went there with higher expectations than what we came out of it. And you know, you can either take that as a hit to the guts and get down about it, or you can come back and you can start rebuilding. And I think that's what we've done, and we're all building towards Tokyo with Tokyo in mind. And it's nice in the meantime to snag some of those rainbows along the way.
No, it's very nice indeed. It keeps that momentum going. There's the photographs that everyone will see in the next few minutes on all the websites across the world. So I'm going to ask you very quickly, because I started to ask you earlier, as we go back to the women's sprint, and hopefully they won't come out on the track too quickly. The atmosphere in this track, not in terms of the crowd, but in terms of pressure. I wanted to understand how fast a track can be depending on pressure and air density and temperature.
Yeah, that actually makes a big impact. It affects gear choices and things like that. What we really want for fast conditions is when a low pressure system is coming across, so when there's a storm coming. And then we also want it to be quite humid and warm, obviously. So actually Hong Kong's quite perfect because it is always quite rainy here. The humid's quite high and it's actually really warm in the track. And also I think with this track I feel like they've resurfaced it since the World Cup last year, and that also makes it faster because at the World Cup in January last year it felt quite boggy on the track, whereas now it feels quite smooth and hard. So there's a lot of things that make an impact on whether a track is fast or slow.
So I was looking earlier on down in the track centre, and the teams have a little meter that tells you, and I hadn't sat down and talked this through before, and I still don't fully understand it, but they monitor the pressure all the time. And the guys were saying in the track centre on a couple of teams, this is the fastest this track has ever been today.
Yeah, there was actually 2 days before the racing started, there was actually superb conditions where we actually saw in our team some really phenomenal times. So sometimes you just get lucky, the conditions just come together really nice. And we saw with Jordan Kirby's time in the individual pursuit this morning, I believe that the conditions were quite good then. And that's how Jack Bobridge broke his the world record in individual pursuit in Sydney. It was just out of this world conditions, and then you've got yourself a world record.
Perfect day. You just need the perfect storm and then you're absolutely sorted in here.
That's exactly right.
Right, let's turn our attention back here. Just to remind you, Stephanie Morton is on the track against Simona Krupa-Keita. They are 1-1 in this, and now we've seen the tactics of both. What do we think they will try and do here?
Well, I think that Stephanie's the lead out, and I think that's Krupa-Keita's going to want to lead out. So I think that we're going to see a battle for the front here, or we're going to see Krupa-Keita try and make a move a little bit earlier in the sprint. She just left it a little bit too late in that second ride. So it's going to be interesting. I think the pace is going to be a little bit hotter this time.
Stephanie Morton leads off. As Carly told us earlier, she has to do half a lap before she can start to manoeuvre Krupa-Keita into the lead, and that's why she's staying down the track then, looking around all the time. Thank you for all your messages. We will get to some of them in a moment, but we're keeping our attention on this all-important sprint because this is for a place to ride for the gold medal.
It certainly is. There's some big stakes at hand here, and I was to see Krupa-Keita's trying to push the pace by moving around the track, and Steph's building on the bottom of the track, so she's trying to take that acceleration away from Krupa-Keita.
Keeping her head turned all the time, and just now hits the bell. Morton wants the lead, as Carly said, and does have the lead.
Steph's got really good pace here. She just needs to be patient here as Krupa-Keita hits the wheel. I think Steph's going to get it. Krupa-Keita's coming.
Big move now by Stephanie Morton as she makes her way to the line. Stephanie Morton wins that one. It looked relatively easy. The coach is ecstatic with that. What a win by Stephanie Morton. She goes through to ride for the gold medal.
I was nervous for her then. I couldn't almost speak. So, yeah, I'm really happy for her. I think she's done a fantastic job there. She's going to have to pull some good moves out against Vogels, but she's certainly got the pace here tonight. She's done a very good job against Krupa-Keita. She's got a lot of experience, and it's going to be an interesting battle also between Sarah Lee and Krupa-Keita for the bronze medal.
Well, those nerves and excitement have been funneled into a great performance as she dismisses Krupa-Keita and goes through now to ride against Christina Vogel for the gold medal. What a great ride that was.
Yeah, that was fantastic. She certainly has the legs, as I said. It's the best condition that I've seen her in, so I think she's got a really good shot here.
So your roommate is doing very well indeed.
She certainly is, and she'll hate me for saying this, but her pump-up music is actually Daryl Braithwaite's Horses.
horses.
So I think she would have been listening to that before she went out for that third round just then.
There's confirmation that Stephanie Morton will race against Christina Vogel in the gold medal ride-off. And Stephanie Morton's dad is just standing in front of us.
Yes, he's very, very happy, as he should be.
Very proud indeed. He did say to me earlier on, she looks like she's on very good form, and that has translated. We're going to turn our attention to the individual pursuit finals. Again, an opportunity for Australia to take a gold medal and also possibly a bronze medal here. Thanks for your messages at Carly McCulloch, at Ant McCrossan. Hello to Bridie O'Donnell. Sorry I didn't get around to answering your question earlier on, but you figured it out. But she says hello to you.
Hi, Bridie.
And also Tinus Els, thank you very much for just tuning in and watching the racing. I think you've joined us over the last couple of days. Heinrich Strobel as well has been talking about the sprints. I hope that we've managed to explain a little bit about track stands and high-speed decisions on the track.
Yeah, and the tactics do change over time depending on gear choice. So you see that the racing is a lot longer these days because the gears are so much bigger, so you need more time to wind them up.
These two riders are getting themselves set then, and it is Kellen O'Brien who is about to get onto the track. Of course, a member of that Team Pursuit squad that rode so well. And he's up against a Frenchman called Corentin Ermenot, who is a European champion of the individual pursuit and team pursuit. He rides for Team Wiggins, which is Bradley Wiggins' road team.
There you go, I didn't know that. The French have certainly come a long way. Their team's pursuit squad is looking quite strong, and it's really fantastic when you see these other countries start to step up to the mark and, you know, sort of hit those mid 350s in the team's pursuit. So it's going to be competitive over the next few years as we head into Tokyo.
Where are these young Australians coming from, though? Because the times they are producing are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, look, we've just got a really fantastic junior development program, and we just find these talented kids, and we have a good way of bringing the best out of them. And, you know, Kel's one of those. He's only 18 years old, and absolutely fantastic talent, but also a really good kid. And I think that feeds off in the team. We've got a really great young group of both men's and women's endurance riders, but also sprinters. So the feeling in the team at the moment is really positive, and it actually feels to me like 2009 in Poland when we had the sort of the changing of guard, when we had a lot of new younger kids, including myself, coming through, and you just build on that, and it makes for a good atmosphere.
On the start line then, Corentin Ermenot of France, from a very strong cycling family, and on the other side of the track, Kellen O'Brien of Australia, one of the youngsters in this team. We're counting down then to the start. This is 4,000 meters, the race distance, and it's a pure race, so it's man against man to decide who takes this bronze medal. We'll count down then to the race start. "20 seconds then until we get this race underway." Ermenot with that last little bit of focus. Both these riders then are underway. We'll have a look at their split times as they go through this 4,000 meters. The world record is 4:10.534, set by Jack Bowbridge. He set it in Sydney on the 2nd of February 2011. But earlier on today, Jordan Kirby, who we'll see in a moment, set the third fastest time in history in an individual pursuit. So this is going to be an interesting couple of races, and O'Brien will want to bring home the bronze to set things up for another good night for Australia. But Ermenot is certainly a fierce competitor. Just to explain the graphics on the bottom of the screen, the green shows the rider who's ahead, the red shows the rider who's behind, and the time shows how far they are behind at each of the individual time splits.
That's a great idea. I haven't seen that before. It certainly hopefully allows the spectators to see exactly what's going on.
It's a brand new graphic, and it took me 2 races to get my head around, which is why I thought I'd explain it to everybody. O'Brien then is looking good as they go through the opening 1,000 metres in a 1:6.303.
That's certainly very fast. I don't think a lot of your elite male sprinters can actually do a kilo that fast, and he's got to do another 3 kilometres on top of that. So, yeah, he's gone out quite hard here, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can hold off the Frenchman.
I wonder whether his tactic here is that he's going to try and catch the Frenchman and just dismiss him, because to go out in a 1:6 opening kilo is asking for a very painful final 1,000 metres in a 4,000 metres pursuit.
It certainly is, and it's often painful to watch when you see the last 1 kilometre of a 4 kilometre time trial, and you can see the rider suffering. It's never a good feeling. I know what that feels like, so hopefully Kel can keep it together here tonight, and maybe he's going for another really good time like Jordan this morning.
Well, just to give you an idea, Jordan went through the opening 1,000 metres in 1:7.438, and he was almost on world record schedule to do a 4:12.172. So this is a big, big performance by this Australian rider. But Ermino is a rider that you really don't want to crack against, because he will absolutely throw it back in your face. Ermino is going extremely strongly. And is he coming back? I don't know if he is, you know. This is still nearly 3 seconds as O'Brien goes through the 2,000 metres point in 2:8.659 compared to the time of Jordan Kirby of 2:9.292 earlier on today.
That's incredible. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, so it's going to be a fantastic race here. But having seen Ermino riding for the Wiggins team, definitely do not discount him. He'll have some good tactics there from Brad Wiggins, and it'll be interesting to see maybe if his tactic is to go a bit slower so that his last kilo can be actually a lot faster.
Well, now it's 3:029 is the advantage of O'Brien against Ermino. He doesn't want to crack until he catches him. Ermino now trying to just hold him at 2.9 seconds. And the big question now is whether this young Australian can go through the last 1,000 metres. He's starting to slow, 3:11.928 compared to Jordan Kirby's 3:10.255. So I think those legs are starting to give him an extreme amount of pain.
Yeah, certainly, and he's also got a couple of teams pursuit rides in his legs as well, so that all adds up. So it's going to be interesting to see how he starts to feel here. Normally when they start shifting back on the seat, you can tell that there's some fatigue coming in, so hopefully he can just keep that condition, keep that form nice and aerodynamic through the air.
Well, he's now at 2.7 seconds. He's just got to keep his form for the next couple of laps to win this bronze medal. He doesn't look like he is letting up. Those shoulders are rocking, but he's 2.7 seconds as he gives it a little bit more. So he isn't coming off the pace too much. This is very, very impressive indeed.
He looks absolutely fantastic. He's got less than half a lap to go here.
Heading in now towards the finishing line, Kellen O'Brien of Australia takes the bronze medal in a 4:16.909. The average speed 56.050 kilometres an hour. Well, he was on the pace of his teammate Jordan Kirby, but he came right off the throttle in the last couple of laps. But that's very impressive.
It's impressive, and it's also very encouraging. As I said, he's only 18 years old and he's already riding that fast. I think we can expect great things from him in the future. And not to discount Ermino either, a 4:19 is not too shabby at all, so also going to expect some big things from him as well.
Yeah, that's impressive individual pursuiting from both those riders. So we know where the bronze medal's going. It is going to Australia. Kellen O'Brien is going to be on the podium later on today with that really stunning ride. I thought he was going to crack in the last 1,000 metres. He went out that opening K just so quick.
It was an impressive opening kilometre, that's for sure. I don't think I've seen that before. Well, I don't think I've seen that ever. So that certainly is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, very, very impressive indeed. So coming up on the track then, don't miss this. If you're fans of Australia pursuiters, then this rider has shaken the individual pursuit riders across the world. As we get confirmation on the screen, Kellen O'Brien takes the bronze medal for Australia, 4:16.909. But coming up on the track now is this Australian, Jordan Kirby. He rode a 4:12.172 in qualification, the third fastest individual pursuit over 4,000 metres in history. Sitting behind Carly and I in the commentary booths, just above us, is Chris Boardman, who rode the second fastest time ever in history. And I talked to Chris earlier, and he said, but I did it in the Superman position. There is no way I could have done it on tri-bars.
Yeah, and that is also an interesting thing about track cycling. Aerodynamics plays such a big part in going fast. So this is the new rules, this is the new regulations with these positions. So to be going that fast, as Chris said, is absolutely phenomenal.
Up against Filippo Ganna, the defending champion, who rode a 4:14.647 in qualification. So it's close between these two riders, 2 seconds, but we're counting down to the start. We're underway then. Now, how do you possibly recover from an almost world record ride in a few hours?
Well, that's certainly not a question for me, being a sprinter. I don't know how these boys or girls ride as many laps as what they do. So I'm sure that they've had plenty of practice of it. And this is actually Jordan's only event at the World Championship, so he has been training specifically for this. And I think that's why we saw a new world record ride this morning, and why we could possibly see another new world record ride tonight.
Well, let's see how he does then. He's got a lovely position on that bike. The hands really close together. You put someone in a wind tunnel. Whoops. The gun's gone off, and I don't know why. In fact, Ganna has got a problem.
This is very strange. I've never seen this happen before.
I don't know what's happened here. The gun went off. And now these two riders, the gun's gone off, and I don't know why it's gone off. So both these riders are stopping. Surely they have to stop both riders. Okay, accidental firing of the gun, Carly, is what we've been told. And they've got to bring these riders back to the start, which in fact you have to, because both the riders, you hear a gun in the velodrome and that means stop.
Exactly, and that's mostly a safety reason. You never know what's going to be happening out there on the track. Somebody could have accidentally spilled something from the stands. So you definitely have to stop. You have to make sure that everything's okay. It's a pity, though, because there were 3 or 4 laps in there, and that could actually have a significant impact on the actual, what will be the outcome of the race. So
exactly.
I'm not really sure how they're going to take this mentally. This is definitely how you, I guess, set apart the world champions from the silver medalists. As you can see, Tim Decker, the head coach there, is not happy about that.
Well, we're hearing that the gun went off on its own, which is the reason why it fired, and the coaches can't quite fathom how that happens.
Yeah, that's a bit baffling, actually. So certainly something that the commentators might have to look into. Probably might need to go back to the traditional starter's gun that you normally see in athletics, and what has traditionally been used.
It's good to have Star Wars, but sometimes it's best played in your TV.
Yeah, you know, that old saying about, you know, is technology getting too advanced? There's nothing better than a whistle like we saw last night in the Keirin start, the men's Keirin final either. So yeah, this is quite interesting. This has never happened before. And it's going to be interesting to see how the boys cope with this.
I'm being told, and I can't believe this is going to happen, that they're going to restart the race from the point at which they were at. How can you do that when you've got the possibility of a world record here?
Well, I guess that means that there's going to be no world record broken tonight, because they're going to have to start in the starting gate, surely.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is quite interesting. Maybe they're going to start with 13 laps to go rather than the full distance.
Surely that doesn't happen, because I don't understand why you would do that, because there's the possibility of 2 young riders in really good condition, in good conditions on the track. We know it's the fastest this track has been. We know that Jordan Kirby has ridden a 4:12. The world record's 4:10, and it's about a gold and silver medal, but also it's about a rider who can produce a performance that puts him into the history books.
Exactly right, and yeah, I'm a little bit lost at words. I'm not sure what to say here. So yeah, I'm not sure starting at 13 laps to go is going to be something that the boys will be happy with. For sure, I believe that Jordan would have been wanting to go out there and challenge for that world record. So I'm sure he must be feeling mixed emotions at the moment. You can see he's not looking too happy there sitting on the track.
No, and I guess this can mess with your head as well, because at the same time, well, the discussion they're now having in the middle of the track, I'm told, is they're trying to work out the exact time when the gun went off, and they are going to give them that time and start from the point they reached.
Okay.
That's like you in the middle of the final 200 meters starting at 150.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how they're going to achieve that, because you could come in a little bit faster, you could be going not fast enough. I'm not really sure what's happening here.
Right, well, these coaches are going to have a discussion. I think this might take a little bit of time.
These are the sort of things that as a team, with our sports psychology, that we do actually work on. You know, in training we might not have you know, a particular support staff with us, so that, you know, if that does happen on race day, it happens on race day, and you have to be able to adapt to the situation. So certainly I would expect that the Italian man would have had some similar sports psychology training. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it, and it's going to be interesting.
What's now happened is they have decided that trying to calculate where the gun went off is pretty much impossible. So they are going to now do what is common sense, and fair play to the commissaires for doing that. They are going to restart the race totally. That's
good news for the boys, but also they've had a good couple of laps in their legs as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how much time they give them. Doesn't look like it's going to be much time. The gate's coming back out on the track already.
Filippo Ganna gets immediately onto the rollers to just spin his legs. In fact, he doesn't have time for that. And he's going to go straight back onto the track. He just wanted to spin the legs over. Filippo Ganna, a member of the UAE Team Emirates team on the road.
See Jordan's coming back up onto the track now too, so they are going to restart this race straight away.
Whilst we wait with this, you can interpret this for me. The other news is that Christina Vogel has been given a warning but still goes through to the final. What does that actually mean?
So a warning just means that she can't do anything like that in the final. If she does, she'll be immediately disqualified from the race. You only have one chance. So the commissaires have obviously deemed that the moving out of the sprinters lane wouldn't have changed the outcome of the race, so therefore she gets a warning.
So if she just moved off her line in race number 1, that's it. Disqualified. The medal would automatically go to Stephanie Morton.
That's exactly right. So she's going to have to be very careful and make sure she stays in that sprinters lane in the next 2 rides.
Well, I hope you're staying with us, and we are interpreting what's going on for you at Amplicross Nat. Carly McCulloch, if you'd like to ask us anything this evening. This is Filippo Ganna back on the bike, 32 seconds until this race is underway. So just to recap for you, after trying to calculate where the gun went off, we've stopped that. So now we are going back to a full start of this 4,000 metres pursuit between Jordan Kirby of Australia, Filippo Ganna of Italy. So they're underway now. Let's hope that they get this full performance out. They will have to just focus and get themselves into this performance now. So these two riders, Filippo Ganna, 4:14.647 in the qualification, 4:12.172 for Jordan Kirby. I would say Filippo Ganna is a more experienced rider, and so may well, I don't know, it comes down to you saying earlier on that you do go through this sort of thing mentally, but Ganna will maybe deal with this with experience compared to Kirby. He'll have to switch on what he's been taught.
Yeah, certainly experience is, you can't can't get away with experience. It's something that you earn, and he has the experience. He is the reigning world champion, so he knows what pressure feels like, and certainly is pressure on at the moment.
Well, he is. Filippo Ganna, though, an incredible time trialist, rides for the UAE Team Emirates. He's not rocking and rolling too much, but Jordan has gone out already and is looking quick on the track. A lovely style, as I was talking about earlier. He goes through the 1,000 metres in 1:7.332, which is faster than he did in the ride earlier on today.
Well, that's fantastic news. He's obviously maybe not hurting as much as I probably would be if I had to restart an individual pursuit. So it's fantastic to see that he's stuck to his game plan here and he's going out there to try and win those rainbows.
Well, here we go then. This is all about the rainbow jersey. Which rider is going to be the world champion? Filippo Ganna is the defending champion. He went through in 1:8.883. Kirby in 1:7.332. And there's no question that he can ride this quick for the entire 4,000 metres. He is just a slender 0.106 inside the time that he rode earlier, so he's really consistent.
Certainly is, and this is the trait of these individual pursuiters. They can ride at set paces. So this is what they do, this is what they know, and it's what makes the event so exciting.
The coach is very important on the inside of the track, isn't he? Because he shows the times or a little bit of splits for the rider so they can see exactly how they're doing.
Exactly, and sometimes they actually ride against the other rider, so they'll actually have the splits of the other rider. So it just depends on what your strategy is. I feel like Jordan's out there to ride his own race tonight, so I don't think he's even thinking about Ganna. And I reckon Ganna's probably racing against Jordan. So everyone has different tactics, even with these individual time trials.
Well, that telltale sign of throwing himself back in the saddle is starting to happen for Kirby. If you just take a look at him, he is under a little bit of pressure right now. Let's see whether he can continue. He's right on the front of the saddle. But right now, he is well ahead as we go to the 3,000 metres point. Slowly now, 2.357 is the gap between Kirby and Ganna. And Kirby looks to be under some pressure now, but he is still cruising on this track through 3,000 metres in 3:13.152. It's not going to be a world record, but it's now he's just got to hold on to win this gold medal. But Ganna is known for having a very fast final kilometre, and I'm a bit worried for Kirby now that Ganna is going to pick this one up, and he really has to get close to his back wheel now and clinch this gold medal.
Yeah, this is where the race starts to hurt. So this is where it's won and lost. So it's going to be interesting to see if Ganna can pull back some time here as Kirby extends his lead even further.
3.5 seconds now. This young rider from Australia heading towards this gold medal and world title. He's absolutely flat out. Ganna 3.8 seconds down, 1 lap of racing to go, and it looks like this young Australian who set the boards alight earlier on today, almost setting a world record, is going to be standing in the rainbow bands. What an impressive ride by Jordan Kirby. He comes round the final turn, and Australia have an individual pursuit world champion.
Absolutely fantastic result for Jordan Kirby there. I know that his family and friends will all be really happy back home in Brisbane. They watched him win the Australian title a couple of weeks ago, and now he's actually the world champion.
Absolutely fantastic performance.
What a fighter.
Well, he had to come back from, both of them had to come back from the gun going off. But
what
luckily
an interesting
we did restart
race.
it, huh?
What an interesting race with that restart. I've never seen anything like that before.
Me either. Certainly haven't. I've not heard the gun go off in the middle of a race for no reason. And then to think about restarting it 3 laps in would have been interesting.
Yeah, it certainly would have. That would have been, history.
It would have been history for all sorts of reasons. Jordan Kirby, though, one of the younger riders in this squad who's come in to take a world title. And I think Australia now are going to be the top of the medal standings.
Yeah, I think we're doing quite well at the moment. And another thing to mention is that Jordan's not even a part of the Team's Pursuit squad. So this is the sort of depth that we've got in Australia at the moment. So that's also really exciting. And I'd be interested to see if Jordan decides to maybe want to try and step into the Team's Pursuit squad. We've got somebody who can ride nearly a world record in the 4 kilometres, and then throw him in the Team's Pursuit. We could be onto something special there.
Yeah, absolutely. Very special indeed. His family are here, so he's greeted by them. there's quite a lot of Australian fans have travelled here.
Yeah, it's not a big trip for us. Normally we have to do the 2 big flights over to Europe or the long flight over to America. So to only have the 1 flight, 10 hours straight from Sydney to Hong Kong is fantastic, and also the same time zone as well. So it's been quite a nice trip for us because we haven't had to deal with the normal jet lag that we have to.
You're on exactly the same time zone.
It's about an hour and a half difference, so they're about an hour and a half ahead back home in Sydney.
So you've not had to deal with what we've had to deal with.
Exactly, so now you know what it feels like.
This is a nice moment here. Cameron Meyer in the World Championship jersey comes in to greet another world champion who will be wearing a similar jersey in a moment.
It's absolutely fantastic. As I said, the camaraderie between these boys in the team is absolutely fantastic. They're all genuinely happy for each other. And as you see now, Cam's about to give him the flag. What a nice moment.
That's your moment, mate. That's your moment.
That is a lovely moment. Jordan Kirby of Australia is now the world champion of the individual pursuit. The time is irrelevant, 4:17.068. He beat Scanner 4:21.299. Well, this is the gold factory for Australia today. It's
Certainly
amazing.
is, yes. And we've got the women's sprint coming up again soon, and Stephanie Morton's got a chance there to maybe add another one tonight.
Well, let's see what happens. Emma asked who is sitting next to me today, and it's Carly McCulloch, who won the silver medal in the team sprint with Stephanie Morton the other night, and is a 3 times world champion, who's joined us to analyse some of the racing. We thank her for taking the time, because we know you have to go to bed soon.
Yeah, I've got another race on the cards here that I'm hoping to have a shot at the rainbows again as well. So I pulled out of the 500 tomorrow, 500 metre time trial, just because I think that I've got the legs good enough to be a contender in the Keirin. So I'm really looking forward to it, and certainly doing all of the recovery things to make sure that I'm in the best position to cross that line in front.
And she's sitting down, she's not standing up, and she's drinking water, keeping herself hydrated. We're going to turn our attention then. I think, Carly, you're going to stay for 1 round of racing here, and then we'll say thank you very much, and we'll let you go and recover, ready for the Keirin, and we wish you all the very best with the chances at the weekend. We're going to turn our attention to the women's sprint finals, and we have the first of the rides, the bronze medal between Simona Krupa-Kaita and Sarah Lee. And the riders just putting themselves onto their bikes and then getting ready. Now, when the sprinters, all of you, strap yourselves into the pedals, some of them look like they almost even get bolts done up underneath, or don't they? Or is it just the coach helping them?
It's normally just the straps, so the straps are quite sturdy and sometimes a bit difficult to get into, so it's just the coach is normally just helping us to make sure that our foot's in tight and snug. We don't want to pull a foot, that would be disastrous. And then the straps there as a second sort of safety catch, just to make sure that everything stays locked and loaded, because we put in a lot of power through those pedals, and the last thing you want is to pull a foot.
And then normally you use, by the looks of things, a lot of riders prefer to use laces rather than the other type of shoes. Yeah,
laces is definitely, I feel, a lot sturdier around your foot. I like to feel like my foot's really snug in the shoe, so the laces just mean that you can actually really tighten them. And you know it's a good thing when you come off and you can't feel your feet anymore because you've done the laces up tight enough.
On the track then, big moment for Sarah Lee of Hong Kong, China, up against Simona Krupa-Kaita, and she will want to just try and get 1-0 up here to get the momentum going to try and take this bronze medal. Yeah, I certainly think she'll be feeling a little bit disappointed and out for a bit of revenge here. I know that she will want that bronze medal, so it's going to be interesting. They're very, very different riders. Krupa-Kaita, as I've mentioned before, big gear rider, long sprint, where Sarah Lee's a shorter sprinter with a smaller gear. She's so well known over here in Hong Kong, China. She's one of the athletes that you see on loads of advertising. If you walk into the city, a lot of the one of the big banks has her as their ambassador. She's so well known, and her story is really interesting. She grew up in a very poor neighbourhood here in Kowloon, and then has become one of the best athletes in the world.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've had a couple of discussions with her because she's often comes to races in Australia, and she says that she always wants to come to race in Australia so she can learn from us. And you know, sort of a bittersweet situation because she's so talented and she's definitely learned a lot from racing against us Australians. And then on the flip side, it's great to have her racing with us.
So she's now manoeuvred Simona Krupskaita into the lead. Obviously, she wants to let Krupskaita lead out and try and come round her with the acceleration she's got.
Yeah, this is certainly Sarah Lee's race, so I think it's a great thing that she's gotten to the back here. But it's also Krupskaita's race from the front, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I think the big move's going to come out of bend 2 in the final lap as they start to wind it up down the back straight.
Sarah Lee goes to the top of the track to use the banking. 41.9 degrees that banking is. She now goes high. Here we go, Carly. She's going to jump onto the wheel.
And here we go. As I said, there's a big acceleration out of bend 2. Looks like she's going to get there as they come around head-to-head into the final bend. I think she's got too much speed as she comes up the home straight. Yep, she's going to get there.
What a win by Sarah Lee. The crowd all around us are right on their feet. They absolutely love that. They can sense a medal for Hong Kong, China.
Absolutely fantastic home crowd support here. I actually had to turn it around for myself last night when I came out. I pretended that they were cheering for me, but there's no mistaking it. This crowd here tonight is cheering for Sarah Lee.
They absolutely loved watching that. They're all standing around us here in our commentary position, which is literally just here on the finishing line. And look at that, she wins. Big throw of the bike at the line. And with no doubt that Krupskaita has now got to go back and work her tactics out.
Yeah, certainly, and you know, it is a best of 3, so it ain't over till it's over.
1-0 to Wai Chu Lee of Hong Kong, China. She wants a medal. She wants to stand on the podium here in this Hong Kong velodrome. Here's the replay. Tactically very good.
Tactically very good, certainly, and I don't think I can fault either rider here. They've both put themselves in the best position to win, and Sarah Lee's just had the more speed as we come up to the finishing line.
Elbow to elbow as they went round that banking. Great performance. Well, her morale will now be very, very high indeed. Well, we get our breath back from that, and we are ready for the next riders to make their way up onto the track, and this is the first ride for the gold medal. Stephanie Morton, Carly's roommate, up against the Olympic champion Christina Vogel. The tactics for both of them here.
Yeah, well, you can see already the tactics have started. Christina's given her the big stare down straight away. As we were talking about before, it's all a mental game, this sprinting. So Christina's fired up, you can see, and Steph's ready to go as well. I think Steph's going to want to lead out, just going to keep the pace quite high and try and hold off that fast acceleration out of bend 2 from Vogel.
Vogel's a really interesting sprinter because she's really short, so powerful, and you talk to her off the track and she's just a delight to speak to, and you put her on a bike and she's just this fighter.
Yeah, she certainly is. You know, I know that she likes to listen to Britney Spears when she warms up, but then when she gets on the bike, it's like she's listening to heavy metal or something. So she certainly is one of those riders that is fascinating both on and off the track.
Whenever I see her, she just, yesterday morning, we walked out of the hotel, she had her bike, she always turns around to me and just says, ready to zoom today.
That's Vogel's for you. She's a fantastic character and certainly one of the best out there. She is the Olympic champion. She's riding very, very close to Stephanie Morton here. This is the tactic that you use to try and out-psych your opponent, and Steph's got to try and hold her nerve here.
So she's trying to make Stephanie go faster than she would want to at this point.
Yeah, pushing the pace. As you can see, she's moving around the track quite a lot. She wants Steph to make the pace. She doesn't want to make the pace herself.
This is the first ride in the gold medal competition, the best of 3 rides.
I think Steph might have a puncture or something.
The gun goes off. Let's just take a little look.
That's interesting. I'm not sure that she actually has a puncture, or it doesn't look like her tyre's flat.
Well, the commissaire is saying, show me the tyre. Stephanie clearly thinks that one of her tyres is soft.
Yeah, it appears so. I'm not sure. That back one might look a bit flat, but it's hard to tell.
And what happens here if it's not?
Look, I think that could be a one race to Vogel. I believe that that's the rule.
Watch your back. Watch your back strong, mate.
So Stephanie Morton has come in. And clearly in a race like this, you're going so fast, you've got to be sure about your bike. And you don't want anything to happen.
Exactly, and we ride so often and we use this equipment so much that you can actually feel if there's something wrong. So it wouldn't surprise me if there is something actually wrong, but yeah, I'm not sure really what's going on here. Maybe there's something on the track. I'm not sure.
So the commissaire is looking there. He will be keeping the rules exactly to the rules. Christina Vogel, being Christina Vogel, will probably say, I don't care really, just put her on the track and I'll race her.
Exactly, and you know, that's what actually makes her such a champion. It doesn't matter what the situation is, doesn't matter what's happening. We saw that in Rio when her seat actually broke in that final race for the gold medal. Doesn't matter what's going on, she just races to the line.
Maybe it's something on the track then, because she said she's saying that it feels funny on the other side of the track as she was riding round.
Yeah, could possibly, maybe there was something from the elimination race earlier on with the crash, I'm not sure. Sometimes when there's a crash on the track, there's actually a gouge mark in the track and there can be some splinters come from the track. So that's why you see the commissaires actually take a little bit of time to make sure that the track is smooth again. They often put some tape over the top to make sure that there's no splinters coming out.
Let's just take a look here. This is when she was on the front and she's looking at Christina Vogel, and then suddenly she just decided that she didn't want to take any real further part before she got her bike checked. We're not seeing anything here that's untoward.
Yeah, it was white.
Maybe there is something on the track from that crash from earlier on, and the track will just get checked as well. The coach is now going up on the track to take a look at where Stephanie says the bike doesn't feel right.
Yeah, so we can see Stephanie having a conversation with the commissaire at the moment, trying to explain what she felt. And we can see our mechanic, actually Pat Ryan, over there, just making sure that there's nothing on the track there. But a couple of other commissaires having a look down that whole back straight. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I've, again, never seen this happen. Normally what happens is if you have a mechanical, I believe it's in the first half of the lap, there can be a restart, but that wasn't in the first half of the lap. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen.
Well, I'm hearing that the first heat will go to Christina Vogel, but we're just waiting for confirmation of that, because there's nothing wrong with Stephanie Morton's bike, which would be a big disappointment there. That is the rule though, Carly, isn't it?
Yeah, look, you can't stop the race halfway through unless there is actually something seriously wrong with your equipment. So, and normally with a flat tyre, you can actually feel that there's something not right. You can see Vogels doesn't look very happy there, and you know this is a World Championship race, so you want to fight it out for it. So it's going to be interesting to see again the mind games. It's been all about mind games tonight with the individual pursuit mishap, and now this mishap in the sprint ride for gold. So.
Well, Stephanie now is going into the track, and I'm just waiting for total confirmation that the first ride does go to Christina Vogel. Would Stephanie know that that is the rule, that if she comes in, then that's it?
Yeah, we're always very well drilled with the fact that you in the first half of the lap, if you have a mechanical, you can put your hand up.
We're just hearing in the velodrome now that the first ride has been given to Christina Vogel, and that is the official announcement that's been made.
Yeah, look, as much as I'd love to see Steph go one up, I think that that's fair. I think that Vogel's, you have to have something wrong with your bike. So Vogels goes one up here, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens now. Steph needs to take this to 3 rides now.
Yeah, so I guess she must have felt something, because she wouldn't have come in.
Yeah, look, as I said, like, you can normally really feel when there's something wrong with your equipment. So she must have felt something, you know, whether that was, yeah, as I said, maybe there was a bit of sweat on the track or something like that, and it's just made her feel a bit funny. And, you know, you've got to remember, these banks are steep. We are going fast. It is a high, intense pressure situation. So you really have to be switched on. You really have to be on your game. And it can be quite nerve-wracking out there.
Could it be something to do with the crash she had recently, that she doesn't want to repeat that?
Well, I don't think so. We've done a fair bit of skill work back down in Adelaide before we came here. And she's actually, I think, in the most... as I said, best condition that I've ever seen her in, but also I think that her skills have improved a fair bit, which is really exciting because she's such a great talent. She's so fast. So I don't think it's anything like that. I think that she's just, you know, maybe had just a bit of a mental mishap there. Could put it down to something as simple as that.
So we've had the announcement in the arena that Christina Vogel goes 1-0 up. I haven't got it officially on my screen yet. But Vogel's coming back onto the track.
And so Steph. So this is interesting. They must be running the next race straight up.
Well, now, just to confuse matters, the verdict of Vogel being given run number 1 has now been overturned, and we are bringing both the riders back out on the track to ride heat number 1. Since you came and sat down next to me, we've had situations we've never had.
This is a very crazy night.
We're testing your analysis.
Yeah, I know. We can see there Alex Bird talking to Stephanie Morton, giving her the trying to pump her up again, get her back into the mood. It's got to be something that definitely affects you. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I wonder if they will actually reverse the position as well.
Well, let's see what happens. Thanks to all of you for joining us at Ant McCrossan, at Carly McCulloch, Carly with a K. You can join us on Twitter. What do you think of what's happened this evening in the individual pursuit and now in the women's sprint? It's been a night to talk about all sorts of intrigue.
Definitely, but it's good to see now they're back out on the track. It's still 0-0, and it's going to be interesting to see how this race goes down.
Well, the commissaires have had their work cut out tonight. Sometimes they get criticised, but they have really had to go and think about the rules and think what is common sense. And I think in both decisions they've made the right decision.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't think that there was nothing seriously. We couldn't see anything that actually happened out there, but, you know, I'll be interested to actually hear from Steph herself actually what happened out there.
This is the best of 3 rides for the gold medal. Stephanie Morton of Australia, the Commonwealth Sprint Champion, against the Olympic Sprint Champion, Christina Vogel of Germany, as they make their way round the bottom of the track.
Christina's sitting quite close here. As I said, this is a bit of an intimidating tactic normally, as she goes up the track to try and push the pace.
So the positions weren't reversed, exactly the same as they were before. Morton looks comfortable. Vogel going to the top of the track to try and get a little bit of height.
Now as Vogels accelerates to the front of the race, definitely where she likes to be. So Steph's got a lot of work to do now.
1 lap of racing to go to decide who goes 1-0 up. Morton is right on the wheel of Vogel. Vogel leading out down the back straight.
And Vogel's got the better of Steph here, I think. As they come up the home straight, Steph's just a little bit too far behind. She's been too close to the wheel, and Vogel crosses the line ahead.
So Christina Vogel goes 1-0 up in that sprint. 11.304 for the last 200 metres. And that means that Steph Morton now has to go back, work her tactics out and try and bring this back to a decider.
Yeah, so here comes the slow-mo replay. As you can see, Steph just gets a little bit caught up too close to the wheel. As a sprinter in the second position, you want to have a nice clean run at the wheel so you can generate some speed. Steph hasn't been able to do that. She just gets stuck on the back of Vogels there, who's very, very good at doing what we call a negative split, where she actually builds pace through the last 200.
Well, as we see the end of this race, we'll say thank you to Carly McCulloch for joining us and wish her all the best for her race at the weekend in the Keirin. And those of you who've messaged in, thank you very much. We're going to turn our attention to the women's Omnium points race in a moment and bring the riders out on the track. Well, our thanks to Carly McCulloch for joining us up here on the commentary position. She's going back to rest because she's got a Keirin to do at the weekend. This is the women's Omnium now, as we turn our attention to that. And of course, this is the last round of the women's Omnium. Amy Cure and Katie Archibald are tied on points. And this is going to be an intriguing one because we have the sprints all the time and we have the double points on the last lap now in this Omnium as well. So it really is going to come right down to the wire. Both Katie Archibald and Amy Cure have got to be absolutely on their A game here. Otherwise, the other riders behind them like Kirsten Wild and Sarah Hammer will close the gap on them. This is the points race then. Keep an eye all the time on the screen of the various points that are going on, and we'll keep you up to date with who is leading this race overall. The points race then, just to explain, sprints every 10 laps, 80 laps of racing. If you take a lap, you get a further 20 points. Amy Cure and Katie Archibald are at 112 points. All points accumulated go to your overall total. Joshua, thanks for your question about the team numbers on some of the jerseys, particularly Australians. Are they sewn on? Some of them have got pockets in their skin suits that they put the number into to make it more aerodynamic. So you're right in spotting that. It makes a big, big difference. Let's just keep our attention on the front of the race then. Amy Cure in the colours of Australia. She leads, she's in the top position. Katie Archibald is in second place, but on exactly the same number of points, 112. Kirsten Wild of the Netherlands is in third place with 106. Sarah Hammer of the United States of America on 96 points in fourth. The Polish rider Pikulic is in fifth place with 90 points. Amy Cure deciding to be right near the front for this race. Kirsten Wild there in the orange. 78 laps to go. The rider now going on the attack at the front for Norway. Anita Stenberg has decided to go on the attack to try and score a few points, join up with Anna Usubiaga, who's now with her at the front of the race. These two riders going clear. 76 laps to go. So keep an eye on Amy Cure in the colours of Australia, Katie Archibald in the colours of Great Britain, Kirsten Wild in the Netherlands colours, the orange, Sarah Hammer in the Stars and Stripes of the USA, in the red and white, Pikulik of Poland, and Balsamo also of Italy, who took that big crash with Stephanie Rauder in the last round of racing. Two riders clear, 4 laps to go to the first sprint. Stephanie Rauder not in this race now. We've lost her from the peloton, unfortunately. 3 laps to go to the first sprint. And it's Stenberg in the red and white of Norway against Anna Usubiaga. Usubiaga is on 52 points and Stenberg is on 40, so they're not troubling the leaders or the medals at all, which is why they've been pretty much allowed to go it alone at the front. So as 2 more riders start to turn the pressure on. One of them is Lydia Boylan of Ireland, and the other rider is the Lithuanian rider. And then there's Olivia Balsaint, who also crashed in the previous race. 1 lap to go then to the first sprint of this points race. These 2 riders are going to fight it out for the points, and Stenberg and Usubiaga. 5 points go to Stenberg, Usubiaga takes 3, and it looks like Katie Archibald is going to sneak through right on the sprint to take 2 points. Katie Archibald just off the front. There she is. She took some points then. That's going to put her right to the top of the leaderboard. Amy Cure wasn't quite on the wheel of Archibald where she should have been to look after the interests of the gold medal. 5 points then to Stenberg, Usubiaga on 3, Archibald on 2, Balsaint on 1. And the races come all back together. 68 laps to go, and the standings as far as the overall is concerned, Archibald will be the leader with a 2-point advantage over Amy Cure, and an 8-point advantage on Kirsten Wild. As now we see a big attack, it comes from Roxane Fournier of France, who's going clear, one of the riders from the professional FDJ team. She was 5th in that course, which is a course by the Tour de France, which is on the Champs-Élysées previously, at the end of the Tour de France. 65 laps to go. She has a little bit of an advantage now. Katie Archibald is thinking about closing the gap on her. And here's the standings after sprint number 1. 114 points to Katie Archibald, Amy Cure on 112. So still this peloton rolling around the track with no riders off the front. We're getting very close to the next sprint. And it's all important for Amy Cure to continue to score some points here for Australia. Kirsten Wild on 106 points. Amy Cure, 24 years of age, comes from Tasmania, twice a world champion in the points and the team pursuit. Silver medalist last night in the team pursuit. Oh, Amy Cure and Kirsten Wild leaning on each other. And Kirsten Wild, much taller from the frame of Amy Cure, and Amy Cure is having none of it, and her and Archibald are fighting as well. There's no holes barred in here. Wield and Archibald going shoulder to shoulder as Archibald now goes round the track to take yet more points. Wield takes the second place, and it looked like the rider from New Zealand, Michaela Drummond, took third that time. So Archibald takes the 5, 3 to Wield, 2 to Drummond, 1 to Amy Cure. Wield is now closing in on the silver medal of Amy Cure. Here's the standings. There's the sprint points. Archibald 5, Wield 3, Drummond 2, Cure with 1. Katie Archibald is riding a pretty aggressive race right now. Just off the front quartet of riders. And Archibald is trying to ride across to them. Does include Amy Cure, includes Lydia Boylan, and this pace is now very, very high. Daria Pikalik is also in this group, as is Lotte Kopecky of the team of Belgium. And here's the standings now after sprint number 2. Archibald with 119, Cure 113, Wield with 109, and Hammer with 96. The race comes back together and another attack starts to go on. And this attack now coming from the Japanese rider on the front of the race, Yumi Kajihara. Coming up to 5 laps to go to the next sprint. In fact, 4 laps to go now to the next sprint. Already only 54 laps of racing remaining to find out who will be the world champion of the women's omnium, led by Katie Archibald of Great Britain, Amy Cure of Australia second place, Kirsten Wild of Netherlands in the bronze medal position. Amy Cure goes on the attack again. She joins up with the trio in front, looks around to see whether anyone is going with her. Amy Cure trying to gain a lap here if she can. That would give her 20 points. These 3 riders looking very, very good. And the rider from Hong Kong, China now goes on the move as well in the blue-coloured kit. Pang Yao is getting the crowd on their feet again. Looking to try and score some points here. Katie Archibald just trying to limit the losses overall as far as this lap is concerned, and she swings up the track. This is going to give Amy Cure a big, big chance, but I'm not sure Cure has got the legs to go with that sprint yet. But in fact, she's tried a different tactic. She decides to go to the front to put the pressure on Katie Archibald and Kirsten Wild. Pikalik takes the 5. Behind them is Kajihara, Amy Cure. Cure closes up to 4 points from Katie Archibald now. This is one tough race going on. Kirsten Wild is now going on the chase to try and catch Amy Cure. Sarah Hammer goes with her. Katie Archibald is in some difficulty now. Confirmation that Pikalik took the 5 points there on the screen. So Sarah Hammer and Kirsten Wild catch the front of the race, and Amy Cure is going to join this train. This is a big, big acceleration now. And Sarah Hammer now goes on the attack. Hammer's lying 4th overall. She's got 96 points, so this would put her, she took a lap into the silver medal position. And Amy Cure senses the danger, so she goes on the attack now. Wild is in the wheels. Pikalik is also still there. Amy Cure swings up. Sarah Hammer is at the front of the race. He's absolutely flat out. Katie Archibald of Great Britain seemingly out of this action right now, hoping that someone will close the gap. Maybe those legs are really suffering. She's nearly at the back of the group, and this is hurting her big style. So far she's looked really dominant in the preceding rounds, but At this moment in time, everything is going wrong for the British rider. She looks to have cracked a little bit. She's looking across the track to see whether the tempo is going to slow up. And Katie Archibald just desperately needs to get herself back in the action as far as she's concerned. But Amy Cure is looking good. I think all of these riders are a little bit on the ropes because the pressure's been so high. Well, Kirsten Wield and Amy Cure have been unable to take advantage of the fact that Archibald is in big trouble. She just isn't able to shut the gap right now. She's hoping that the Ukrainian rider who's with her will close it. Amy Cure, meanwhile, is on the front. 42 laps to go. This is Amy Cure's big chance now to go into the lead. Lotte Kopecky goes up. Elisa Balsamo also there. They're bumping off each other. Amy Cure is going to be out of the points in a point of the race that she really needs to be dominant. So coming up to the line, Lotte Kopecky senses a possibility. She's really, really strong now. Elisa Balsamo also goes with her. A world champion as a junior on the road, but Lotte Kopecky will have the stamina, having just finished 5th in the Tour of Flanders, to absolutely put everyone into severe pain. Amy Cure's looking around to see what is going on. The answer is that Katie Archibald is literally hanging on at the back of the peloton. And Lotte Kopecky has moved herself up into 8th place. No one has been able to take a lap so far. Elisa Balsamo with Kopecky. Now Daria Pikulik is going to bring this race back together. Has any one of these riders got it in the legs to go on the attack? They all swing up yet again. The pace goes out, and suddenly Katie Archibald, the race leader, is able to draw some breath. Finally, she gets herself back to the wheels of Kirsten Wield and Amy Cure. The tempo calms down. These riders really have dished it out to each other. 37 laps to go. We still don't know where these medals are going. Archibald knows how to suffer. Amy Cure has got that punchy style. She's so smooth, but she's got so much stamina from riding on the road as well as the track. Archibald just is a track specialist. And everyone is across the road now. A dangerous moment actually in this race, because once the tempo goes out, it's very, very easy to have a crash, a touch of wheels. Nervous moments. 35 laps to go. Lydia Boylan goes to the front. The big attack from the Irish rider. She's 12th overall, 54 points she has. An immediate reaction comes from the rider from Japan and the rider from China. That's Lu Chaoling. The Japanese rider, Kajihara, is on the wheels. Amy Cure just tracking Daria Pikulik. Katie Archibald is hanging onto the wheel of Amy Cure. Thank you for joining us. If you would like to ask any questions, @McCrossan is where you can join me on Twitter this evening. Thank you very much to Carly McCulloch for taking her time in a busy programme of racing to come here and give us her analysis earlier on. 32 laps to go. This is an important sprint, but Boylan and her 2 breakaway companions are going to mop up these points. Amy Cure is just looking for an opportunity to try and go away. She's going to try and get 1 point. She's up against Michaela Drummond and Anita Stenberg. Sarah Hammer is in the wheel, so is Katie Archibald. But that time, the 3 riders at the front, Archibald suddenly finds some legs to come through and try and challenge for the points. But I think Michaela Drummond may well have got them. Here's the replay. Archibald throwing her bike at the line, but the points have gone. It's almost a little bit of a game now because everyone knows that Archibald is suffering. Still, the gold medal position, we'll see it in a moment. Kajiara took the 5, Chao Ling of China 3, Boylan 2, Drummond took 1. And now Lotte Kopecky decides to use her road speed to go across to the leaders. This is a big move by the Belgian rider. 3 leaders then. And Lotte Kopecky is crossing this gap very, very quickly. This is what happens at the end of a day of really tough competition. When you've ridden races like the Tour of Flanders, you just have a little bit more power in the legs than everybody else. And I think Lotte Kopecky could tow these riders across to take a lap now on the rest of the field. When she gets there, she's going to add some firepower. Lotte Kopecky onto the wheel. She's got to go literally straight past and take the 20 points. Because the field are certainly suffering badly. Lotte Kopecky recovers quickly. Now she's going to think about going through. She's got to do it fast before the rest of the acceleration happens. Suddenly the gap starts to open up a little bit. Kopecky now puts on the pressure for the rest of the riders. This will be the first group of riders to take 20 points, and it will move them up substantially. It will put Kopecky almost in touching distance of a medal, and they are going to take a lap. Well, this is a big move by these riders. Lydia Boylan, Chao Ling, the Japanese rider, also Kajiara, and Boylan and Kopecky take a lap on the rest of the field. 20 points go to them. Kopecky has moved herself up with that into 6th position. Now she needs to go on the hunt for some points. This peloton now in 3 pieces with 22 laps to go. Amy Cure desperately trying to find some energy in the legs. Another attack of 4 riders. Daria Pikulik is starting to look dangerous for a medal as well. The clever riders in here will be waiting for the last sprint. Pikulik takes 5 points that time. That's going to move her up onto the slipstream of Sarah Hammer. Pikulik takes the 5, Stenberg takes 3. Drummond of New Zealand at the back of that quartet of riders. And Balsite of Lithuania was also up there. Lotte Kopecky is going on the attack yet again. She is the strongest rider now in this race. There is no doubt whatsoever. She is stretching this race considerably. Lotte Kopecky, clearly her legs are feeling good. She's right on the wheel again of the junior world champion on the road, Elisa Balsamo of Italy. But to me, Kopecky looks the best rider in this field. She may well run out of time though. She needs to get another lap to take a medal. The current standings then, 17 laps to go. Katie Archibald leads with 4 points advantage on Amy Cure. Despite her trials and tribulations, Archibald somehow has held on to this 4-point lead on the rest of the field. Wield on 110, Pikulik on 100, Hammer on 98, Kopecky on 93. 16 laps to go. These riders in all sorts of pain. Elisa Balsamo, despite her crash earlier, looks very strong too. Lydia Boylan of Ireland also looking good. She's moved herself up into 8th place in this omnium. Kirsten Wheel just sensing the possibility of, remember there are double points on the last lap. Who's going to take this then? It's going to be very, very close. Katie Archibald leads, Amy Cure second for Australia, Kirsten Wield Who's been bluffing? Has anyone been bluffing? Archibald certainly didn't look like she was bluffing to me. She was sitting on the back of the group, desperately trying to hold on the wheels and hoping that the race would come back together. She seems to have recovered. Big swing across the track then. These riders are very, very tired. Katie Archibald senses a world title here. So does Amy Cure and Kirsten Wild. And now the riders are all over the place. It's getting really, really dicey in this peloton. Amy Cure moves up to get out of any danger. Kirsten Wild moves down the track. 12 laps to go. This is an important one. Amy Cure turns on the pressure. Lotte Kopecky goes with it. Kirsten Wild is looking to put herself into the medal positions here firmly. Amy Cure is there. Kirsten Wild, they're all over the track. Amy Cure going for the sprint. She takes Kirsten Wild high. Oh, that was very, very close between those two riders. And now Amy Cure turns the pressure on everyone else. Lotte Kopecky is still there. Can she take another lap before the end? Looks like Kirsten Wild may well have got the 5 points, which will move her up, or still into the bronze medal position a bit more firmly. Here's the results of sprint number 7. Wild with 5 points, Cure with 3, Kopecky with 2, Archibald got 1. This is one of those moments of nervousness. 9 laps to go. Sarah Hammer now goes on the attack to try and take a lap. 98 points she has. Can she take a lap before the finishing line? That's a huge attack by Sarah Hammer. Amy Cure tries to respond. She's not able to. Kirsten Wild does. This would put Sarah Hammer right up into the medals. This is a big, big move by Sarah Hammer. Pikulik tries to go with it as well with 100 points. It's still anybody's race. Katie Archibald 120, Amy Cure 118, Kirsten Wild 115, Pikulik on 100. We're running out of laps, 6 laps to go. Lotte Kopecky is now in 6th place on 95. But none of the riders in the peloton can afford to let Sarah Hammer go across and take a lap. 5 laps to go. A big attack now from the front of the peloton. It comes from the Japanese rider, Chiara. Amy Cure has still got Katie Archibald on her wheel. She can't get rid of her. This is going to be really, really close. There are only 2 points separating these riders. Amy Cure needs to score the maximum points to get the gold medal. She leans on Anita Stenberg. Katie Archibald is in a little bit of difficulty here. Sarah Hammer is going to mop the points up. They have to close the gap before the finish. Otherwise, Katie Archibald will be the world champion. She's now sitting on the wheel of Lydia Boylan. Amy Cure has to close the gap, and she's doing it. But otherwise, these points are going to go to Sarah Hammer and Pikulik, and it's going to cost Amy Cure the gold. She's now looking for a little bit of help. It comes from Lydia Boylan. Kirsten Wild is now going to give some assistance. Katie Archibald moving up on the wheel of Amy Cure. Amy Cure has to close this in the next 2 laps. Archibald is sitting, in fact, 1 lap. This is going to be really, really close. Kirsten Wild, Amy Cure, this is all about the gold medal. Kirsten Wild looking for this one. Amy Cure is really suffering now. Archibald is moving up as well, but the points are going to go to the first riders across the line. Pikulik takes the 10. Archibald takes the points for the final sprint. She manages to get into 4th place. What a sprint by Katie Archibald, which means that she will be the world champion by 4 points from Amy Cure. Kirsten Wild will take the bronze. Somehow, Katie Archibald, despite hanging on the back of the race for so long, she's absolutely exhausted, but she will be the world champion. Throwing her bike at the line with a wheelie. What an incredible finish. That just shows bike racing, how much you have to fight, how much you have to suffer. Katie Archibald, world champion. So well deserved. Her, Amy Cure and Kirsten Wild really put in a fantastic race. You could just see the legs of Amy Cure were giving out. At one point it looked like Katie Archibald had totally and utterly cracked. Somehow she just held on and held on.
Wave the crowd, mate.
Katie Archibald, world champion of the Omnium. That was breathtaking racing between those women. She's all smiles now. About 30 laps ago, it looked like it was game over. Here's the final sprint then. Pikalik moved herself into 4th place with that sprint. Sarah Hammer was also up there. She moved herself into 5th. Kopecky will finish in 6th with that great performance. Katie Archibald wins the women's Omnium. Amy Cure 2nd, Kirsten Wield in 3rd. Amy Cure and Kirsten Wield now tied on points. So on count back, I'm just having a look. I think Amy Cure would be the silver medalist because of her win in the elimination race. I'm just checking our scoreboard about the final sprint, but there's no doubt Katie Archibald is the world champion. Congratulated by the new performance director of British Cycling, Stephen Parks. Those pictures say it all. Well, there's the results on the screen. I think there might be a few little adjustments here or there based on what I can see, but anyway, Katie Archibald wins, Amy Cure takes 2nd, Kirsten Wield takes 3rd. And there's the rundown of the top 20 riders. Stephanie Rauder, we wish her all the best recovering. She walked away from that heavy crash, but doesn't finish the Omnium after it. And we turn our attention back then to the sprints. This could be the last races of the night, but we'll wait and see what happens. This is the bronze medal ride-off between Sarah Lee of Hong Kong, China, and Simona Krupaskaita. in race number 1. Sarah Lee was the winner. She's 1-0 up. If she wins this, she will take home the bronze medal. So it should be interesting tactics then between these riders. And the crowd firmly behind Sarah Lee. Simona Krupakaita just starting to wind the pace up. Sarah Lee is looking for a little bit of height so she can dive down the banking and use her acceleration. Krupakaita, there's the camera on the back of her bike, and she's going to go for the long sprint. Sarah Lee is using the acceleration to get onto the wheel. She has it now. Now she needs to go kicking past Simona Krupakaita to take the bronze medal. The crowd are going absolutely mad, and it looks like Sarah Lee will take the bronze medal for Hong Kong, China. This crowd are absolutely going ecstatic. They've got what they wanted, a medal to Wai Chu Lee of Hong Kong, China. Now the smile breaks out. The crowd are absolutely standing and screaming around us here in the velodrome. It's the most popular medal of the entire racing. Fantastic performance. Well, she powered her way onto the wheel of Simona Krupakaita. She managed to get right on the wheel in time and then surge past into the finishing line. She wins by over a wheel. Confirmation of the result. Wai Chu Lee of Hong Kong, China takes the bronze medal, and Simona Krupakaita sportingly says to the crowd, "Greet your bronze medalist." The woman who grew up 10 minutes from here wins a medal in her home country. I think we might take a little bit of time until we get the next race underway. A stunning, stunning performance to get herself through to the bronze medal ride-off. She desperately wanted the gold, but she'll be happy with a medal here in these World Championships. It's pleased the crowd totally. And now we bring the gold medal ride-off onto the track. The gold medal ride-off between the Olympic champion Christina Vogel and the Commonwealth champion Stephanie Morton. Vogel staring her out. 1-0 to Christina Vogel so far. Stephanie Morton has to win this to bring it to a decider for the gold medal. Otherwise, the world title is going to Christina Vogel. Christina Vogel 4 times on the podium of the women's sprint. She won the Olympic Games. She was the winner in 2015 and 2014. She was the bronze medalist in 2016 and the silver medalist in 2013. She has stayed the test of time. And now Stephanie Morton has to beat her to have any chance of taking gold. Morton starting to pressure Christina Vogel a little bit. She goes high up on the track now. She wants Vogel to lead out and then to use the speed to get back on the wheel and come past her. Here we go. Vogel now really fast sprint here between these two riders. I think Morton's got it exactly how she wants it. Christina Vogel now accelerates. Stephanie Morton is right onto the wheel of Christina Vogel. Has she got the power to get past the sprinter who is the Olympic champion? Morton trying to get back into the slipstream yet again. It looks like Christina Vogel has the power to win. Christina Vogel is the world champion of the sprint. She absolutely powered that final lap. Christina Vogel, yet again, is the world champion of the women's sprint. That is an ecstatic victory. Hat-trick of victories in the World Championship. And for the last 5 years, she has been on the podium or in some position. Christina Vogel takes the rainbow bands yet again. She lost them in 2016. She'll be so proud to wear them now. Christina Vogel winning that one clearly, so fast. Stephanie Morton takes the silver medal in the World Championships. A great performance by Stephanie Morton, her first World Championship sprint medal. Job done as far as Christina Vogel's concerned. She's making her way into the crowd. High fives, she's very, very popular. Well, some fantastic racing, some intrigue this evening on this track. Christina just getting a bit worried about getting the flag into her back wheel. And now we hear from the winner of the men's individual pursuit.
Congratulations, Jordan. Last year you were watching the Rio Games on TV, and tonight you're a world champion wearing the world jersey. How does it feel?
Absolutely amazing. You know, to think even a few months ago that this would be a possibility, I didn't think such a thing, but I got on the track in October with a couple of goals, and the first one was to win the national pursuit title, which I managed to do. And thankfully, Cycling Australia gave me the opportunity to come here and really show myself, and just applied myself really hard at home, and wasn't sure how we'd go coming into it. But after the heat, I got a fair bit of confidence. I looked up at the time and couldn't really believe it. Then it was all about, resetting the mind for the final, which we did, and all was good. And then we started, and I heard a few gunshots. Wasn't sure what was going on, but yeah, we ended up doing a bit of a restart. So that rattled me a fair bit. I'm sure it rattled Filippo as well. But then we restarted, and it was a 4K race, and go as hard as we can, and managed to come out on top.
That's fantastic. And Australia tonight is adding 5 medals to its tally: 2 gold, 2 silver, 1 bronze. That's really ruling Australia tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I think some of it stems from the culture within the team. You know, everyone supports each other. We've got a great network around us, and it gives us the ability to train really hard and apply ourselves. And as Cam Meyer and the team always says, you know, it's a beautiful thing to come into the pit and have everyone there, you know, supporting you and congratulating you. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing to be a part of.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Oh, what a great interview by the new individual pursuit world champion. Jordan Kirby of Australia with that scintillating qualifying ride of 4:12. Congratulations then of Christina Vogel. And we've got some victory ceremonies to bring you this evening. And here is the men's individual pursuit victory ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony for the 2017 UCI Track Cycling World Championships Men's Individual Pursuit.
各位先生、各位女士，現在進行2017場地單車世界錦標賽男子個人追逐賽頒獎典禮。
The medals and UCI World Champions jersey will be presented by member of the UCI Management Committee, Renato Di Rocco.
獎牌以及世界錦標賽冠軍戰衣將會由國際單車聯盟本地委員會委員頒發。
Winner of the bronze medal representing Australia.
銅牌得主係代表澳洲。
Kellen O'Brien.
And the bronze medal goes to Australia, Kellen O'Brien.
Winner of the silver medal representing Italy.
銀牌得主係代表
The defending champion Filippo Ganna takes the
Filippo
silver this time.
Ganna.
The Italians get another track medal.
The UCI Track Cycling World Championship Men's Individual Pursuit gold medalist and winner of the UCI World Champions jersey representing Australia.
2017場地單車世界錦標賽男子個人追逐賽金牌，以及世界錦標賽冠軍戰衣得主係代表澳洲
Jordan Kirby.
Jordan Kirby, the world champion of the individual pursuit.
The prizes, including a watch provided by Tissot, will be presented by Deputy General Secretary of Cycling Association of Hong Kong, China.
紀念品將會由
There's our podium lining up, getting ready for the national anthem of Australia.
陳續宇先生頒發。
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Australia.
各位先生、各位女士，請起立。現在奏澳洲國歌。
acknowledge all of our medalists.
各位先生、女士，請以掌聲祝賀我哋各位得獎運動員。
There's our podium. Callan O'Brien of Australia, Filippo Ganna of Italy, Jordan Kirby of Australia. And now we're going to hear from the new world champion of the women's omnium, Katie Archibald of Great Britain.
Katie, congratulations. How do you feel? That was a very, very highly contested competition for you. You girls with Amy were tied before the points race.
Yeah, I feel in pain primarily. But yeah, I feel really privileged to kind of pull it off in the end. That was an unbelievably grippy race. I really thought I'd lost it in that middle point of just chasing, being attacked, and got back on in the end and pulled it out of the bag.
You were an accomplished rider in team events with major titles, but you were chasing your first gold in an individual event, and you got it tonight.
Yeah. Feels very strange. I'm used to having my teammates, my girls with me, and it's very odd to celebrate by yourself. It feels a bit lonely, but looking forward to going back to the hotel and catching up with them.
And last question, how do you feel this new format for the Omnium on one day, with which is favouring bunch races?
I love it. As a spectator, yeah, I totally buy into it. I think it's a fantastic change. Yeah, as a competitor, I kind of lost some events I was good at, but I think it's evened out and yeah, made it a really thrilling, like I say, painful, but really thrilling event.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Katie Archibald, the new world champion of the Omnium. As she said in the middle, it looked like this race was disappearing, but she pulled it back. She manages to take the title. And we wait now for the Women's Omnium medal ceremony.
The medal ceremony for the 2017.
Well, I said there might be some swapping around that went on in the standings overall, because when I looked at the results, I wasn't sure that the points were 100% correct on my screen. And that means that Amy Cure takes the bronze medal, Kirsten Wild will take the silver, and Katie Archibald will take the gold.
獎牌以及世界標賽冠軍戰衣將會由國際單車聯盟副會長頒發。
Winner of the bronze medal representing Australia.
銅牌得主係代表澳洲
Amy Cure.
Amy Cure takes the bronze medal.
Winner of the silver medal representing the Netherlands.
銀牌得主係代表荷蘭
Kirsten Wild.
Kirsten Wild takes the silver medal.
The UCI Track Cycling World Championships Women's Omnium gold medalist and winner of the UCI World Champions jersey representing Great Britain.
2017場地單車世界錦標賽女子全能賽金牌，以及世界
And a very popular winner here in this velodrome. A lot of British expats are here. Katie Archibald is the world champion. She said it's a little bit lonely celebrating on your own. She's just getting the jersey on.
The prizes, including the one provided by Decisive, will be presented by
Katie Archibald is the world champion of the women's omnium.
紀念品將會由中國香港單車聯會副主席陳國基醫生頒發。
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Great Britain.
各位先生、各位女士，請起立。現在就英國國歌。
Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge all of our medal winners.
Katie Archibald is the world champion of the omnium. And there is our podium. What a great series of races we have had tonight. And now we're going to hear from another world champion.
Congratulations, Christina. You put up a very, very convincing performance today.
Oh, thank you. It was a really tough competition today. I had Sarah Lee in the semifinals. Like, to have her in the home crowd, it's harder than just a normal heat, just a normal semifinal. So I'm really lucky that I made it. And of course, the final is a hard fight from the first centimeter. And I'm pretty happy that after the Olympic Games in Rio, I defend my position in the world. So yeah, take at the end of the day the rainbow jersey again.
How did you keep your momentum after this strange delay, due to this piece of tape on Stephanie's wheel?
Pardon?
How did you keep your momentum, your focus after that delay?
Yeah, because my national coach say sometimes I'm the best manual squat, so maybe you found sometimes some extra metros now. That sprint final, it's sometimes not just the fight in your legs. Sometimes it is, of course, the fight in your head and your mind. So, but I love hard games.
You've been elected by your fellow riders earlier in the week on the UCI Athletes Commission. That must be a great recognition for you.
Yeah, I'm really proud. I saw close by the half of the person here that voted for me. So thank you guys for the trust. It's gonna be a lot of work, because I think not every country track cycling is in that position on that promotion what I thought it could be. Or I love my sport, I love my job, and I hope every countries do like the same. So it's got a lot of work for me and Kenny the Kettle.
Thank you very much, Christina. Congratulations. Thank you.
Christina Vogel celebrating and very popular, as you hear, as she's been nominated by her fellow riders to represent them in the Athletes Commission. And we wait now for the victory ceremony of the women's sprint.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony for the 2017 UCI Track Cycling World Championships Women's Sprint.
各位先生、各位女士，現在進行2011場地單車世界錦標賽女子爭先賽。
And here is the podium.
The medals and UCI World Champions jersey will be presented by member of the UCI Management Committee, Mr. Osama Ahmed Abdullah El-Shafar.
獎牌以及世界錦標賽冠軍戰衣將會由國際單車聯盟管理委員會委員頒發。
Winner of the bronze medal representing Hong Kong, China.
A very popular medal then. Rai Chuli of Hong Kong, China takes the bronze medal.
Representing Australia.
銀牌得主係代表澳洲
Stephanie Morton. The UCI Track Cycling World Championships Women's Sprint gold medalist and winner of the UCI World Champions jersey representing Germany.
2017場地單車世界錦標賽女子爭
Stephanie Morton takes the great silver medal for Australia.
戰衣得主係代表德國
Christina Vogel.
Christina Vogel is the world champion for the third time.
The prizes, including a watch provided by Decisive, will be presented by Director of Leisure and Cultural Services.
紀念品將會由康樂及文化事務處處長李美常女士 JP 頒發。
And they're presented now with the gifts.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Germany.
各位先生、各位女士，請起立。現在就德國國歌。
Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge all our
Christina Vogel continues her dominance of sprinting over the last few years. The Olympic champion, now the world champion. So always very hard to come off the back of an Olympic cycle as Olympic champion and to pick yourself back up and motivate yourself to go out and train hard still when you've accomplished an Olympic title and win a world title straight off the back. But Christina Vogel has managed to do it. She is now, without doubt, the best sprinter in the world. And there's a different photograph. We've had some fantastic racing today, there's no doubt whatsoever. It has been an evening of both thrilling racing and intrigue along the way as well. I hope you've enjoyed all of it. We've got another 2 days of this racing to come. And lots more medals yet to be decided on this track. Christina Vogel then celebrating her victory for Germany. She got her tactics absolutely right in that final sprint. As she signed some jerseys. To join all the other world champions who've signed them over the last couple of days. Well, let's take a look now at the medal table as it stands after today's competition. And I think we'll find that Australia have firmly moved up this medal table. They have scored a lot of medals tonight. Australia now lead with 8 medals, 3 gold, 3 silver, 2 bronze. Great Britain move into second with Germany and also Italy and New Zealand, each with 1 of each colour. And then, of course, the rest of the nations queuing up behind. There's the rest of the nations who've scored some medals. Hong Kong, China with that medal of Sarah Lee. Well, we've had another great evening of racing here. Thank you to all of you who have joined us for today's coverage. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll join you again tomorrow. Goodbye for now.